Chapter 38-26. Within the Tianlong clan, all of the Golden Dragon Elders supported the War of Emperors. The Tianlong clan's clan leader and the majority of the Tianlong clan's upper echelons also supported the War of Emperors. Although it's called the War of Emperors, it's actually a battle for the birth of a God Emperor. But even if there's no way for a God Emperor to be born, isn't it a good thing for us and the sect's disciples to break away from our peaceful lives and enter the War of Emperors to fight and gain the determination to improve? Said a Black Dragon Elder of the Tianlong clan. At this moment, two of Duan Lingtian's acquaintances, Xue Haichuan and Dongfang Yannian, were also present. However, an inner sect elder like Kuang Tianzheng wasn't qualified to appear here and participate in such a high-level meeting of the Tianlong clan. To be able to participate in such a high-level meeting of the Tianlong clan's upper echelons, a White Dragon Elder was the lowest requirement. I also think that's the case. Someone immediately agreed and said, although it's possible to accept missions and go out to train in the sect, the effects of these missions are extremely limited. Moreover, not all sect's disciples are willing to accept missions to earn contribution points and buy divine pills and divine fruits to aid in their cultivation. The majority of sect's disciples are just muddling along within the sect. They don't have any goals, and they act as if they're gaining strength with age. Normally, they use the identity of a Tianlong clan disciple to intimidate others. Of course, it's not just our Tianlong clan that's like this, but all of the God Emperor level forces that enjoy peace and comfort are like this. The person who spoke now was another vice sect leader of the Tianlong clan. Unlike Xue Mingji, this vice sect leader had always supported the War of Emperors. His cultivation was still far from the God Emperor realm. Even if the Tianlong clan really did engage in a war of emperors with other God Emperor level forces, his chances of breaking through and becoming a God Emperor were extremely slim. He supported the War of Emperors mostly because he couldn't stand the fact that most of the Tianlong clan's disciples were content with the status quo and had no ambition at all. Of course, this didn't mean that those people were trash. Trash wouldn't be able to enter the Tianlong clan. What he meant was that even if those people were to accept missions to earn contribution points, they would only accept missions that were not dangerous at all and would only earn low contribution points. As for missions with higher contribution points, they were often accompanied by a certain degree of danger. So many people were unwilling to accept them. In their opinion, once they joined the Tianlong clan, they would become powerful sooner or later, so there was no need to rush. As for the 1,000-year heavenly tribulation that they would face after reaching the Divine King realm, they did not feel any pressure for the time being. After all, there was still a long way to go. If they did not work hard today, they could work hard tomorrow. Tomorrow after tomorrow, there were so many tomorrows. I think so too. The Black Dragon Elder Blue Feather Mountain, who was in charge of the Hidden Dragon Grand Competition a while ago, agreed. Even us old fellows, when we were young, weren't we just muddling along? Now, we are facing the heavenly tribulation of 1,000 years. Ask yourselves, have you ever regretted not working hard enough when you were young? I support the War of the Emperors. I hope that our Tianlong clan's younger generation can learn from shame and become courageous. In the near future, we will break through to the God Emperor realm and lead the Tianlong clan to greater heights. Following Blue Feather Mountain's agreement, more people immediately joined in to support the War of the Emperors. Haichuan, it seems that the War of the Emperors is inevitable this time. Dongfang Yannian transmitted his voice to Xue Haichuan. Hearing this, Xue Haichuan's eyes flashed. Actually, after knowing the purpose of the Greater One Sect Masters Group, I knew that the War of the Emperors would definitely succeed this time. The War of the Emperors. I have been looking forward to it ever since I entered the Tianlong clan. Now, the time has finally come. In the Tianlong clan, not all of the young disciples were content with the status quo and did not want to improve. There were some young disciples who were outstanding talents of the younger generation. The halo above their heads was the motivation for them to work hard. Including Xue Haichuan, the three youngest White Dragon Elders of the Tianlong clan were representatives of this group. Hearing Xue Haichuan's words, Dongfang Yannian shook his head and smiled. As Xue Haichuan's good friend, he naturally knew what Xue Haichuan was thinking. He was not surprised by Xue Haichuan's answer. Yannian, Xue Haichuan's expression suddenly turned serious. He transmitted his voice to Dongfang Yannian. Your cultivation has long reached the bottleneck of the middle god emperor level. This war of the emperors will be an opportunity for you to break through. At that time, you and I will act together in the early stages and try to find some pressure. That will be helpful for your breakthrough, said Xue Haichuan. Hearing Xue Haichuan's words, Dongfang Yannian immediately refused. No need. I can just find 2 people to go with me. You go to your own things. What a joke. He still remembered that when he went out on a mission with Xue Haichuan saw 2 high god emperors charging straight at them. In the end, although he managed to kill those 2, they were also seriously injured, especially Xue Haichuan, who had almost died. After that time, he asked Xue Haichuan why he had risked his life like that. Xue Haichuan said that because he trusted him, he was confident. After that time, every time Xue Haichuan asked him to go on a mission, he would politely refuse. He wasn't afraid of death. Instead, he was afraid that Xue Haichuan would take risks because of him. Also, you don't have to work too hard yourself. Ever since you entered the Tianlong clan, you have been working hard. Compared to those disciples of other sects who are content with the status quo and don't want to improve, you are the opposite of them. They need to work hard, but you can rest for the time being. While politely refusing Xue Haichuan, Dongfang Yannian warned him, also, don't forget about your big brother. If something really happens to you, who can protect your big brother at all times like you? Hearing this, Xue Haichuan first bitterly smiled, then sighed and fell silent. Right. Seeing that Xue Haichuan's mood seemed to be somewhat low, Dongfang Yannian said, that 7th lady from the 10,000 Flower Valley seemed to have followed little Tian to see you last time. She seems to be that person's daughter? Dongfang Yannian asked with a smile. What? Did she come to denounce you? Ask you why you refused her mother back then? Back then, when Xue Haichuan, the proud son of heaven of the Tianlong clan, was out on missions, there was no lack of women who adored him. One of the female disciples from the 10,000 Flower Valley even wanted to break off her engagement with someone else for Xue Haichuan. She acted as long as Xue Haichuan was willing to accept her, she would immediately be together with Xue Haichuan. Many people in the Tianlong clan knew about this. Dongfang Yannian also only found out a few days ago that the 7th lady who had performed outstandingly in the Hidden Dragon tournament was actually the daughter of that bold female disciple from the 10,000 Flower Valley. Xue Haichuan's expression gradually darkened. In the end, he couldn't help but send a mental message and curse, scram. Haha, you're even angry out of humiliation. Dongfang Yannian laughed loudly. Clearly, he didn't plan on letting Xue Haichuan go just like that. Why don't you tell me? Why did she come looking for you? Don't tell me she wants to inherit her mother's stubbornness and make a move on you. Hearing Dongfang Yannian's words, Xue Haichuan turned his head away, looking like he couldn't be bothered with him. At the same time, the Tianlong clan's high-level meeting also came to a conclusion. They agreed to the Emperor's Battle of Emperors proposed by the Greater One sect. They would engage in a battle of emperors with the Greater One sect. After this matter was confirmed, all sorts of news regarding the Battle of Emperors began to spread throughout the Tianlong clan. At first, many people didn't know what a Battle of Emperors was. However, when they found out what a Battle of Emperors was, they were naturally shocked. Even higher deity emperors can die in a battle of emperors? All the elders and disciples of the clan must participate in a battle of emperors. No one can stay out of it? I'm only a higher deity. If I enter a battle of emperors plane, won't I just be throwing my life away? Don't worry. Those below the deity king level have the privilege of not entering a battle of emperors plane. Similar discussions spread throughout the Tianlong temple. More and more Tianlong clan disciples began to panic. Many Tianlong clan disciples even gathered together to protest the battle of emperors. However, their efforts were futile. A group of deity realm outer sect disciples rejoiced at the fact that they weren't deity kings. However, they also asked around, how long will the battle of emperors last? After all, in the Tianlong clan, if a deity realm outer sect disciple couldn't break through and become a deity king within a certain time limit, they would be expelled from the clan and sent back to wherever they came from. Many people didn't want to go back because they felt that it would be shameful to go back as an exiled disciple of the Tianlong clan. There were also people who felt that as long as they could survive, it was fine to lose face. In short, as news of the Battle of Emperors spread throughout the Tianlong Temple, the Tianlong clan became much more chaotic in the following period of time. In many places, it was like a market. By the time Duan Lingtian found out about the Battle of Emperors, 3 months had already passed. After 3 months, the Tianlong clan finally calmed down. In fact, it was even quieter than before. Outside, it was rare to see people gathering together and chatting. Originally, there weren't many people going in and out of the Internal Affairs Hall. But now, there was an endless stream of people going in and out. It was too much for the eye to take in. Duan Lingtian's cultivation had made some progress. He just wanted to come out for a breath of fresh air before continuing to cultivate. But he didn't expect to see a completely different scene from 3 months ago. What's going on? With a blank expression, Duan Lingtian walked into the Internal Affairs Hall. This was also his first time seeing the Internal Affairs Hall. After walking into the Internal Affairs Hall, all sorts of noises entered his ears. After a while, Duan Lingtian finally filtered out the key points. Battle of Emperors. 5 years later. To be precise, there were only 4 years and 7 months left until the Battle of Emperors. Battle of Emperors. After Duan Lingtian came to the realm of gods, the profound Handle Land, he deliberately wanted to understand some things about the profound Handle Land. In the past, whether it was the Hidden Fog sect or the Linghu family, he took a lot of time to understand all kinds of things. When he was in the Linghu family, he learned a lot of things that he didn't know before. Among them was the Battle of Emperors. The Tianlong clan is going to have a Battle of Emperors with the Supreme E sect? Duan Lingtian's eyes lit up. It seems that the heavens don't want me to leave the Tianlong clan. The Battle of Emperors, crisis and opportunity coexisted. For someone like him who was eager to become stronger, this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Chapter 38-27. In Duan Lingtian's opinion, staying with the Tianlong clan or going to one of the strongest Emperor God-level forces in Tunglung province had its advantages and disadvantages. For the time being, he chose to stay with the Tianlong clan. Of course, this did not mean that he would not agree to go with the top Emperor God-level forces in Tunglung province. If they came to poach him, they would not come empty-handed. Perhaps they would give him something that would tempt him. At that time, it was not impossible for him to leave the Tianlong clan. Now that the Tianlong clan was about to start the War of the Emperors, he was not in a hurry to leave the Tianlong clan. The War of the Emperors will take place in the War of the Emperors Plain. The participants will be Emperor God-level forces, or top Emperor God-level forces who both want to produce Emperor God-level experts. Of course, top Emperor God-level forces, even the most outdated Emperor God-level forces, would not be willing to fight with them, because the foundation of an Emperor God-level force is limited. Come to think of it, a force that has never produced an Emperor God-level expert in its history, how much foundation could it have? Therefore, if top Emperor God-level forces want to start the War of the Emperors, they will usually choose another top Emperor God-level force as their target. During the War of the Emperors, both sides will take out a large amount of precious resources that they have for their disciples to compete with the disciples of the other side. The stronger side will have the upper hand in this competition, while the weaker side will have to watch the precious resources of the force behind them being snatched away. These were all records and descriptions of the War of the Emperors that Duan Lingtian had read in the Linghu family's library when he was still in the Linghu family's library. Once the War of the Emperors began, both sides would not be able to hide anything. They would continue to take out precious resources that would tempt even a high-level Emperor God level to compete for. This was to increase the enthusiasm of the participants in the War of the Emperors. Of course, even if there were no such things to increase the enthusiasm of the participants, all disciples of the two forces would have to participate unless their cultivation had not reached the God King realm. Moreover, after participating, they had to obtain a certain amount of battle results before they could temporarily not enter the battlefield. Whether it was the Emperor Battle Realm, the Revered Battle Realm, or the Paramount Battle Realm, all of them were publicly known as the Meat Grinder. Inside, deity kings fought each other, deity emperors fought each other, deity emperors fought each other, and supremes fought each other. Every cultivator had a specific battlefield, and those with high cultivations were not allowed to enter the battlefield of those with low cultivations. There were formations set up by the strongest cultivators for the Monarch Battle Realm and the Reverend Battle Realm. As for the Supreme Battle Realm, there were at least 3 strongest cultivators there. If someone with a high cultivation base dared to cross the battlefield and attack someone with a lower cultivation base, they would be killed by the strongest cultivators. The battle between the Tianlong clan and the Greater One sect is about to begin. The specific details of the battle should have been announced by the Tianlong clan, right? Thinking of this, Duan Lingtian came to the side of the Internal Affairs Hall. It was not the place to accept and return missions, but it was a place with a lot of people. A group of people was standing in front of a light screen formed by a formation, looking at the densely packed words on it. As soon as he approached, Duan Lingtian learned from many of the onlookers that they were all inner sect disciples who had just come out of closed-door cultivation, or had just returned from outside. I didn't expect that the world would change when I came back after going out once. An inner sect disciple sighed. Although I've long known about the existence of the Emperor battle and knew that the sect had challenged the Greater One sect many times in the past and was rejected, I didn't expect that the Greater One sect would take the initiative to challenge the Tianlong clan. This is too surprising. I thought it would be difficult to encounter an Emperor battle in my life, but I didn't expect to encounter one when I was just a higher deity king. An Emperor battle is a good thing. Yes, only the outer sect disciples are complaining. Among the inner sect disciples, more than half of them are looking forward to the Emperor battle. The Emperor battle is not only an opportunity for the Supreme Elders to break through and become Emperor gods, it is also an opportunity for us to obtain a large amount of resources. It is said that those who enter the Emperor battle, no matter who it is, are not allowed to wear a storage ring that will self-destruct if the owner dies. They must wear a storage ring that will automatically remove the owner if the owner dies. Be that as it may, under such circumstances, how many people would bring in the good stuff? You're thinking too much. If someone deliberately went home before the Emperor battle, someone would definitely notice. If he died, his family would be implicated. At that time, they would think that he went home to store his treasures. Therefore, before the Emperor battle begins, very few people will leave the sect. The discussion of the inner sect disciples surprised Duan Lingtian. He thought that there would be many complaints, but he did not expect that more people were looking forward to the Emperor battle. Emperor battle. Duan Lingtian's gaze quickly fell on the array light screen in front of him. The densely packed words recorded the various details of the Emperor battle. The Emperor battle would take place in the Emperor Battle Realm. The Emperor Battle Realm was provided by the few peak Emperor God forces in Tunglong Province. There were 3 large arrays that were set up by the strongest and compressed into array discs. As for the divine stones and divine crystals required to set up the arrays, it would be shared equally between the Tianlong clan and Supreme E sect. The Emperor Battle Realm had a total of 3 entrances. 2 of them were in the Tianlong clan and Supreme E sect, and the last one was in the Tunglong Province. It was a place set up by the peak Emperor God forces for the people sent by those Emperor God forces to enter and leave. In the Emperor Battle Realm, the Tianlong clan and Supreme E sect each had a city. It was a place for the people of the 2 sects to rest. After a long battle outside the city, if they were tired or injured, they could return to the city. After returning to the city, they would be completely safe, and the enemy would not be able to attack them. In the Emperor Battle Realm, the 3 major battlefields took up more than 90% of the area. Among them, the High Godly Emperor's battlefield was called the Quasi-Emperor's battlefield, followed by the Low Godly Emperor's and Mid Godly Emperor's battlefield, and then the Godly King's battlefield. Among them, the 3 major battlefields took up about the same area, but the number of people entering was definitely a world of difference. The God King battlefield would definitely have the most people and was the most chaotic. Next was the God King battlefield. As for the Boundary Emperor battlefield, it was the place where the top experts of the 2 sects fought. It was also the focus of attention, because if an Emperor God was born, it would definitely be there. In the God King battlefield, upper divine kings can kill lower divine kings. When he saw this, Duan Lingtian was stunned for a moment. He thought of his 2 friends, Ho Qingning and Ding Yan. The 2 of them were only lower divine kings. Ding Yan's strength was slightly better. Although he was only a lower divine king, in terms of strength, even among middle divine kings, he was considered strong. Ho Qingning was much weaker. However, when he saw the words at the end, Duan Lingtian heaved a sigh of relief. 4 inner and outer sect disciples who have just broken through to the lower divine king realm within 100 years. And for inner and outer sect disciples who have just entered the sect will specially arrange for outer sect deacons to lead them into the emperor battle dimension. As for inner and outer sect disciples who are lower divine kings, they can only find others to work with. When he saw this, Duan Lingtian could not help but shake his head. It was not hard to imagine that once a lower divine king disciple who did not have an outer sect deacon to lead them into the emperor battle dimension, there was basically a 90% chance of survival. Unless the sect gave an order, how many people would be willing to bring along a lower divine king burden? Of course, a lower divine king like Ding Yen was still very popular. Following this, Duan Lingtian read the contents at the end. It was nothing more than some things to take note of. In the Emperor Battle Dimension, due to the formations set up by the supreme powerhouses, other formations could not exist. Even if they were set up, they would be forcefully destroyed by the supreme powerhouses' formations. Due to this reason, there was no formation mirror image in the Emperor Battle Dimension. After entering the Emperor Battle Dimension, even if fellow disciples killed each other, as long as it was not seen by a third party, no one would be able to pursue the matter. The only way to pursue the matter was if the person who did the killing admitted to killing a fellow disciple. Naturally, the Tianlong clan had also set a heavy punishment for those who killed fellow disciples in the Emperor Battle Dimension. The lightest punishment would be crippling their cultivation base and banishing them from the sect. The heaviest punishment would be death. After all, the Emperor Battle Dimension was a battle between two sections. Attacking fellow disciples at this time was a provocation to the sect. It's hard to fathom a person's heart. After entering the Emperor Battle Dimension, unless one's strength is sufficient, one can't completely trust and cooperate with someone from the same sect. Duan Lingtian was not a native of the realms of gods. He had risen from the mundane realms and had traveled all the way until now. He knew how sinister a person's heart could be. If one did not know them well, one should not completely trust them. After looking around for a while, Duan Lingtian walked towards the place where missions were accepted. There were many people gathered there, and there was a long queue in front of each counter. What's the mission like? An outer sect elder said that he doesn't have time to return home, so he asked someone to help his family solve a problem. Even higher god kings can accept this mission. There shouldn't be any risks. All you have to do is show your strength and reveal your identity. This mission is not bad. Help an inner sect deacon deliver something to his family. Once the item is delivered, you can receive the reward. The reward is very generous. His family should be quite far away, right? Duan Lingtian's eyes widened as he listened to the discussions around him. Many of the missions were trivial. It was as though they did not have time to return home. It seems like many people are preparing for their deaths after the start of the Emperor battle. Unknowingly, a person appeared beside Duan Lingtian and shook his head. Young clan leader? Duan Lingtian regained his senses and realized that the person beside him was Hua Tiandu, the young clan leader of the divine emperor-level Donghua clan. Hua Tiandu smiled bitterly. Duan Lingtian, in the Tianlong clan, you and I are both inner sect disciples. Please don't call me that. You can call me by my full name. Do you want me to call you Consecrator Duan? Duan Lingtian used to be a consecrator of the Linghu family. This was no secret. Duan Lingtian heard this and was stunned. He felt that there was something wrong with this form of address. However, since Hua Tiandu minded, he agreed. All right. End of chapter. Chapter 38-28. Seeing that Duan Lingtian had agreed, Hua Tiandu's smile widened. Duan Lingtian, it seems like you and I made the right choice. The Tianlong clan didn't disappoint me after all. You're very confident. Duan Lingtian smiled. Naturally, he knew that Hua Tiandu was referring to the upcoming battle between the Tianlong clan and the Tianlong clan. It's all right. Hua Tiandu nodded. Other than you, Duan Lingtian, there aren't many people below the divine emperor level in the Tianlong clan that I'm afraid of. Duan Lingtian, are you interested in joining forces with me? Hua Tiandu asked with a smile. If we join forces, will definitely be able to dominate the Divine King battlefield. At this moment, Duan Lingtian finally understood why Hua Tiandu had approached him. It turned out that Hua Tiandu wanted to join forces with him. Why me? In the Tianlong clan, there are a few people below the Divine Emperor level who have mastered the profundities of the laws that aren't inferior to mine. Not everyone in the Tianlong clan was mediocre. Although he and Hua Tiandu had attracted the attention of everyone in the Tianlong clan due to the strength they had displayed in the Hidden Dragon competition, there were still a few divine kings among them. However, in the Heavenly Dragon sect, there were a few prominent celestial kings whose strength was on par with Hua Tiandu and Duan Lingtian. These people had comprehended profundities comparable to Hua Tiandu and Duan Lingtian. Of course, in the eyes of the Tianlong clan, the profundities that Duan Lingtian had comprehended were the fusion of all three profundities of the law of space. However, they didn't know that what Duan Lingtian had displayed was only a part of his true strength. It's still early for the battle between the divine kings. We'll see when the time comes. Duan Lingtian smiled faintly. Who knows, maybe I'll have broken through and become a divine emperor by then. Divine emperor? Duan Lingtian's words made the corners of Hua Tiandu's mouth twitch. Even if he had consumed the emperor-connecting divine fruit, he was not confident that he would be able to break through and become a divine king in 5 years. The emperor-connecting divine fruit could only remove the bottleneck between a high-level godly king and a low-level godly emperor. If a low-level godly king wanted to break through to become a godly emperor, even if the bottleneck was removed, it still required a certain amount of accumulation. He only dared to say that he could break through and become a god king within 100 years. But now, Duan Lingtian was telling him that he could break through from the middle divine king realm to the divine emperor realm in 5 years? Then I'll wait and see. Hua Tiandu smiled politely, but in his heart, he had already concluded that Duan Lingtian was tactfully rejecting his invitation. Hua Tiandu, who felt that he was rejected by Duan Lingtian, also felt that the atmosphere was a little awkward. He casually chatted with Duan Lingtian for a while before leaving. During this process, Duan Lingtian could vaguely see through Hua Tiandu's thoughts, but he did not explain further. In his opinion, as long as he could break through and become a high-level godly king in a short period of time, it was possible for him to break through and become a divine emperor in 5 years. Of course, there was a reason why he said that. He was tactfully rejecting Hua Tiandu. He did not intend to cooperate with anyone in the War of Emperors. Once they cooperated, they would have to divide the spoils of war. Moreover, he would not be able to act recklessly. That was not what he wanted. Suddenly, Duan Lingtian saw a mission. The mission was initiated by an elder of the White Dragon clan. The condition for completing the mission was a Supreme King-grade divine pill. Most importantly, Duan Lingtian happened to have a Supreme King-grade divine pill. He had refined it before he came to the Linghu family. This Supreme King-grade divine pill did not have any supplementary effect on one's cultivation. Once a Supreme King-grade divine pill was refined, it could quickly repair one's shattered heavenly veins. In fact, let alone cultivators from the realms of gods, even celestials from the Devata realms had the ability to repair their shattered heavenly veins. However, it would take a lot of time to repair one's heavenly veins. That time would be more than enough for one's cultivation base to rise to a higher level. Previously, Duan Lingtian had chosen to refine this King-grade divine pill because it was one of the most difficult pills to refine among the limit King-grade divine pills. If one did not refine a Supreme King-grade divine pill, it was no different from a useless pill. Therefore, no one would refine it. This White Dragon Elder actually took out 10,000 contribution points to exchange for an extra-limit Meridian Recovery divine pill. Duan Lingtian could not help but click his tongue when he saw the mission reward. The Tianlong clan's contribution points could be used to exchange for various cultivation resources and rare materials in the Tianlong clan. Many of the resources in the Tianlong clan could not be exchanged with divine stones and divine crystals. They could only be exchanged with contribution points. This was to encourage the disciples of the Tianlong clan to earn contribution points. For example, prominent divine weapons could only be exchanged with contribution points in the Tianlong clan. Moreover, Prominent divine weapons that were exchanged with contribution points in the Tianlong clan could not be traded with divine stones and divine crystals. If one was caught doing so, one would be punished and would not be able to use contribution points in the Tianlong clan for 1,000 years. A high-grade divine weapon is only worth 5,000 contribution points. Elder Bai Long is actually willing to exchange 10,000 contribution points for a limited Meridian Recovery Divine Pill? Under normal circumstances, the value of a Supreme Meridian Restoration Divine Pill could not be compared to a prominent divine weapon. However, compared to a prominent divine weapon, a Supreme Meridian Restoration Divine Pill was even more priceless. Therefore, it was often very valuable to those who needed it. It would be a waste if I don't accept this mission. Without any hesitation, Duan Lingtian walked to the queue to accept the mission. After about an hour in the queue, he successfully received the mission he wanted and completed it on the spot. It really is a Supreme Meridian Restoration Divine Pill. The Internal Affairs Hall Elder who confirmed the completion of the mission could not help but exclaim when he saw the divine pill that Duan Lingtian had taken out. Instantly, the surrounding people's gazes were attracted. Many people recognized Duan Lingtian immediately. It's Duan Lingtian. He's the new inner sect disciple Duan Lingtian, the champion of the Hidden Dragon Grand Competition not long ago? That's him. He used to be a consecrator of the Divine Emperor level Linghu family. He can easily refine supreme divine pills. Could he be the one who refined this Supreme Meridian Restoration Divine Pill? Impossible, right? Even the old sect leader did not have the ability to refine the Supreme Meridian Restoration Divine Pill, let alone him. The old sect leader was a divine alchemist who could refine the Emperor Connection Divine Pill. His alchemy skills could not be better than Duan Lingtian's. As the crowd whispered, they all felt that this Supreme Meridian Restoration Divine Pill was not refined by Duan Lingtian. The Internal Affairs Hall Elder who was holding the Supreme Meridian Restoration Divine Pill was now looking at Duan Lingtian with great interest. Duan Lingtian, this divine pill, did you refine it yourself?
Yes.
Duan Lingtian nodded. He had long heard the doubtful whispers in the surroundings, but he did not care. He did not plan to explain anything. However, since the Internal Affairs Pavilion's elder had asked him, he did not plan to hide anything. As soon as Duan Lingtian finished speaking, the crowd fell silent. However, more people's eyes were still filled with doubt. Duan Lingtian, you said you refined this Supreme Meridian Restoration Divine Pill personally? If you're really capable, then refine one right now and show us. Otherwise, we really don't believe you can refine the Supreme Meridian Restoration Divine Pill. It's one of the most difficult Supreme King-level divine pills to refine. A young man in a yellow robe with golden edges said with disbelief. However, Duan Lingtian merely glanced at him indifferently. He had no intention of replying to him at all. He turned to look at the Internal Affairs Pavilion's elder and asked, "Elder, can you give me my contribution points now?" As Duan Lingtian spoke, he took out his identity token, which was the identity token of an inner sect disciple of the Tianlong clan. The contribution points were stored in the token. It was similar to the bank cards on Earth in his previous life. 2 identity tokens could be used to transfer contribution points to each other. I'll transfer it to you right away. The Internal Affairs Hall Elder regained his senses and took the identity token from Duan Lingtian. After a while, he transferred 10,000 contribution points to Duan Lingtian. After Duan Lingtian received the contribution points, he ignored the questioning gazes around him and walked to the other side of the Internal Affairs Hall. He planned to use the contribution points he had just earned to exchange for some items. 10,000 contribution points could be exchanged for 2 upper-grade divine weapons. It was not a small amount. Humph. The young man in the yellow robe looked at Duan Lingtian's back and snorted coldly. He deliberately raised his voice and said disdainfully, "Duan Lingtian, are you admitting that you were boasting? You don't even want to prove yourself. That ultimate Meridian Recovery Pill could not have been refined by you personally." "Prove myself?" Hearing the voice behind him, Duan Lingtian stopped in his tracks. Then, he took another step forward and said without looking back, "Who are you? Why should I prove myself to you? There is always someone better than you. Don't think too highly of yourself." Duan Lingtian's tone was indifferent as he walked away calmly. The young man in the yellow robe's face alternated between green and white. When he looked at Duan Lingtian again, his eyes were filled with bone-chilling coldness. He unconsciously clenched his fists. "Ha!" At this time, a young man who had just walked into the Internal Affairs Hall laughed and said, "Huang Ting, not everyone cares about your status as Vice Sect Master He's disciple." Duan Lingtian, when he was in the Hidden Fog Sect, he killed the disciples of 2 of the 4 strongest highest elders. Do you think he cares about your status? Listening to this young man's words, it was clear he had a good understanding of Duan Lingtian. As for Huang Ting, after hearing this young man's embellishment, the coldness in his eyes disappeared. His green and white complexion also calmed down. He lightly said, "Xuejin, do you think I don't know that you are trying to sow discord? If I remember correctly, your junior apprentice sister married Zhong Qin's junior apprentice brother. He was killed by Duan Lingtian. If you want to take revenge for your brother-in-law's junior apprentice brother, you should do it yourself. I won't do anything for you." Huang Ting coldly sneered. Ling Tian's latest chapter address, Ling Tian's full text reading address, /13909 Ling Tian's War Reverent TXT download address, Ling Tian's War Reverent mobile phone reading address, /13909 In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Collect button below to record this. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. If you like Ling Tian's War Reverent, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 38-29. Xuejin was a disciple of the Tianlong clan's deputy clan leader, Xue Mingji. At the same time, he was also an orphan adopted by Xue Mingji. He shared the same surname as Xue Mingji and could be considered Xue Mingji's adopted son. As for Huang Ting, he was a disciple of the other deputy clan leader of the Tianlong clan, He Xiaoming. Both of them were well-known figures among the inner sect disciples. Even if they weren't as strong as Duan Lingtian and Hua Tiandu, they weren't far off. They were the most outstanding among the disciples of the Tianlong clan's divine king. Originally, Huang Ting had indeed been furious because Duan Lingtian had looked down on him. He had even viewed Duan Lingtian as an enemy. However, now that Xuejin had spoken, he wasn't so angry anymore. He, Huang Ting, wasn't going to be a tool for others. "You're making my wedding dress?" Xuejin laughed when he heard Huang Ting's words. "Huang Ting, you speak as if you are a match for Duan Lingtian. In my opinion, you, Huang Ting, won't even be able to take a single blow from Duan Lingtian." As he spoke, the smile on Xuejin's face became even more radiant. Huang Ting's expression darkened and he was about to say something, but his words were interrupted by someone else. The person who had interrupted him was Duan Lingtian, who had already walked far away. At this moment, Duan Lingtian turned around and looked at Xuejin calmly. "Xuejin, is it? Could it be that you think you can take a single blow from me?" Duan Lingtian hadn't originally planned to get involved in the matter between Xuejin and Huang Ting, but now, Xuejin was using him to draw hatred. Naturally, he couldn't sit idly by. Moreover, some time ago, he had received a message from Linghu Renjie from the Linghu family. In the message, Linghu Renjie reminded him that he had investigated the Tianlong clan's deputy clan leader, Xue Mingji. The other party doted on his only daughter very much. If Xue Mingji's only daughter wanted to target him, Duan Lingtian, Xue Mingji would not stand idly by. From that time on, Duan Lingtian was a bit more wary of Xue Mingji, who was the Tianlong clan's deputy clan leader. At the same time, he didn't have a good impression of him. Part of the reason why he was being rude to Xuejin was because of this. Since he had long been on the opposite side of the Tianlong clan's deputy clan leader, Xue Mingji, what did he have to worry about? Huang Ting was originally a little angry because Duan Lingtian had interrupted him. However, when he heard what Duan Lingtian said to Xuejin, his anger disappeared completely. His face was full of smiles. He suddenly felt that this Duan Lingtian wasn't as annoying as before. At the same time, Huang Ting didn't forget to look at Xuejin and sneered. "Xuejin, do you want to prove whether you can take a single blow from Duan Ling, junior brother Duan?" At this moment, the way Huang Ting addressed Duan Lingtian had changed. Presently, Jin had instead completely disregarded Huang Ting, and his gloomy gaze stared at Duanling Tian as he said in a cold voice, Duanling Tian, your strength is indeed not bad, and I admit that I'm not a match for you. However, I'm afraid it's impossible for you to defeat me with a single blow. Jin's expression was ugly. I'll bet 10,000 contribution points. Duanling Tian glanced at Jin indifferently and said calmly, if you can take a single blow from me without being defeated, I'll give you 10,000 contribution points. If I defeat you with a single blow, you'll give me 10,000 contribution points. Do you dare? When Duanling Tian reached the end of his sentence, his gaze turned deep. 10,000 contribution points. The moment Duanling Tian's words left his mouth, an uproar broke out among the onlookers. 10,000 contribution points was a huge bet for them. Are you serious? Although Jin was furious that Duanling Tian looked down on him, he was also attracted by the 10,000 contribution points bet. It should be known that this was not a small number. Even he, who had been in the Tianlong clan for many years, had only accumulated close to 20,000 contribution points. This was because he had a master and godfather who was the vice sect leader of the Tianlong clan. Of course, it's true, Duanling Tian said nonchalantly. If I remember correctly, at this time, Jin calmed down. You, Duanling Tian, just joined the sect a few months ago. Do you have 10,000 contribution points? Of course, I heard that you have a good relationship with Elder Haichuan. If you borrow from him, you should be able to get 10,000 contribution points. However, you have to return the contribution points you borrowed. When he reached the end of his sentence, he looked at Duanling Tian as though he was looking at a penniless pauper. It's only 10,000 contribution points, Duanling Tian said nonchalantly. I don't need to borrow from others. Almost at the same time as Duanling Tian's words, a bystander reminded Jin, Senior Brother Jin, Duanling Tian just accepted Elder Zhu Feiyu's mission to find the ultimate limit meridian recovery pill and took out one on the spot. As if to set off this person's words, at the same time, a swift figure entered the internal affairs hall like a ghost. Someone completed my mission to find the ultimate limit meridian recovery pill? Yes, it's indeed the ultimate limit meridian recovery pill. Who completed the mission? At this moment, a middle-aged man in a gray robe appeared in front of the internal affairs hall elder who had completed the mission for Duanling Tian. He took the divine pill from the elder's hand and examined it carefully for a while before asking the elder, Elder Zhu Feiyu. At this time, the elder of the Internal Affairs Hall came to his senses and looked at Duanling Tian. It's Duanling Tian who completed the mission. Duanling Tian? Suddenly, Zhu Feiyu's gaze crossed the crowd and landed on Duanling Tian. His eyes were shining. Duanling Tian, I heard that you were able to refine the ultimate limit spirit level divine pill when you were in the Linghu family. Did you refine the ultimate limit meridian recovery pill as well? As soon as Zhu Feiyu appeared, Duanling Tian saw the White Dragon Elder's token hanging on his waist. In response to his question, Duanling Tian nodded. Yes. Zhu Feiyu's gaze became even more intense. Do you still have the ultimate limit meridian recovery pill? If you do, I want to exchange it for 2 more at 10,000 contribution points each. Suddenly, all eyes fell on Duanling Tian. More people's eyes were mixed with curiosity. Would Duanling Tian be able to take out a supreme limit meridian recovery divine pill? I just happen to have a few more. Under everyone's gaze, Duanling Tian smiled and took out a pill bottle from his storage ring. He poured out 9 divine pills and picked up 2 of them, casually holding them in front of Zhu Feiyu with his divine power. At the same time, Duanling Tian put away the other ultimate limit meridian recovery pills and handed his identity token to Zhu Feiyu. Give me 3 and I'll transfer 30,000 contribution points to you. Zhu Feiyu had only asked casually. In his heart, he felt that it would be a great surprise if Duanling Tian could take out another ultimate limit meridian recovery pill. He didn't expect that Duanling Tian would take out 9 ultimate limit meridian recovery pills. Thinking of his son's heavenly vein injury, he secretly gritted his teeth and asked Duanling Tian for another ultimate limit meridian recovery pill. For ultimate limit meridian recovery pills would be enough to completely heal his son's heavenly vein injury before the imperial battle. 3 wasn't enough insurance. All right. Hearing Zhu Feiyu's words, Duan Lingtian naturally wouldn't refuse. This was a good opportunity to earn contribution points. Only Zhu Feiyu continued to sell Ultimate Limit Meridian Recovery Pills. Normally, the Ultimate Limit Meridian Recovery Pills in his hands wouldn't be able to fetch such a price. 3 Ultimate Limit Meridian Recovery Pills were worth 30,000 contribution points. In an instant, the contribution points in Duan Lingtian's identity token soared from 10,000 contribution points to 40,000 contribution points. Duan Lingtian, I still have some matters to attend to, so I'll take my leave first. If you're still in the Tianlong clan in the future, feel free to visit me whenever you're free. I, Zhu Feiyu, will always welcome you. Zhu Feiyu was in a hurry to send the 4 Ultimate Limit Meridian Recovery Pills back to his son. After bidding farewell to Duan Lingtian, he turned and left. After Zhu Feiyu left, the scene was still dead silent. 10 Ultimate Limit Meridian Recovery Pills. Duan Lingtian had actually taken out 4 Ultimate Limit Meridian Recovery Pills. Even though he had sold 4 to Zhu Feiyu, he still had 10 left. Did he really refine them himself? Heavens! I've only heard that he could refine Ultimate Spirit-Grade Divine Pills as easily as eating and drinking, but I didn't expect him to be able to refine Ultimate King-Grade Divine Pills. Even Divine Pill Masters who can refine ordinary Ultimate King-Grade Divine Pills may not be able to refine Ultimate Limit Meridian Recovery Pills. The Ultimate Limit Meridian Recovery Pill is known as one of the most difficult King-Grade Divine Pills to refine. Duan Lingtian's talent in Divine Pill Dao seems to be even more heaven-defying than his cultivation talent. Did he really refine them? Why don't I believe it? If it was his master who refined them, I'd still believe it. I really don't dare to believe it. Don't forget, he's not even 3,000 years old. Duan Lingtian was not even 3,000 years old, but his cultivation base and attainments in the law of space were already shocking enough. They found it hard to believe that Duan Lingtian could multitask and achieve such heaven-defying attainments in Divine Pill Dao. Even if the Supreme Limit Meridian Recovery Divine Pill wasn't refined by him and was refined by his master's achievement in the Dao of Divine Pills is also shocking. After all, even the old sect leader couldn't refine the Supreme Limit Meridian Recovery Divine Pill. Under everyone's gaze, Duan Lingtian put away his identity token and looked at Xue Jin, who had a gloomy expression on his face. Why don't we bet 40,000 contribution points? Xue Jin's eyes narrowed when he heard this. After a moment, he looked deeply at Duan Lingtian before he turned around and left without saying a word. Haha, Xue Jin, are you scared? Wang Ting laughed when he saw Xue Jin turning around to leave. His tone was filled with ridicule. Huang Ting, if you have the ability, sign a life and death contract with me. I can give you a chance to fight me. Xue Jin stopped moving and turned around to look at Huang Ting, causing Huang Ting to laugh disdainfully. Xue Jin, aren't you just relying on the fact that you're slightly older than me? Do you think you're a match for me at my age? Humph. Duan Lingtian was stunned when he saw Xue Jin snort coldly and leave. What was going on? His 40,000 contribution points were gone just like that? End of this chapter. Chapter 38:30. Just now, Xue Jin had really wanted to test himself against Duan Lingtian and see if he could withstand one of Duan Lingtian's moves. He was very confident that he could withstand one move and not lose. However, when he saw Duan Lingtian take out 10 Ultimate Limit Meridian Recovery Pills, his heart began to waver. This Duan Lingtian did not seem to be able to be judged by common sense. It was difficult to see through him. What one saw might not be the whole picture. If he did not deliberately show it, one might not be able to see through him. Therefore, after thinking about it, he began to think about withdrawing from the 10,000 contribution points bet. His contribution points were not as easy to obtain as Duan Lingtian's. He had to accumulate them bit by bit. He had been in the Tianlong clan for many years, but until now, he had accumulated less than 20,000 contribution points. At this moment, Duan Lingtian had changed his mind and wanted to bet 40,000 contribution points. He quickly used this as an excuse to turn around and leave. When he sensed the questioning gazes behind him, Xue Jin said without turning his head after dealing with Huang Ting, Duan Lingtian, I don't have 40,000 contribution points. When I have 40,000 contribution points, I'll bet with you again. When Duan Lingtian heard this, he looked deeply at Xue Jin's back and said, "If you don't have it, 30,000 will do. If you don't have 30,000, then 20,000. If you don't have 20,000, then 10,000. I'll bet 10,000. However, even when he said that he only wanted 10,000 contribution points, Xue Jin did not stop walking, as if he did not hear him at all. At this moment, Huang Ting, who was standing at the side, sneered. Duan Lingtian, he's a coward. Let alone 10,000 contribution points. He wouldn't even dare to bet 1,000 contribution points with him. In the distance, Xue Jin, who was about to walk out of the side door of the Internal Affairs Hall, paused when he heard Huang Ting's words. Then, he walked out of the door and disappeared from everyone's sight. If he doesn't want to bet with me, why don't you try? Duan Lingtian looked at Huang Ting, who wanted to see the world in chaos, and asked calmly, "Me?" Huang Ting was stunned for a moment. Then, he glanced at Duan Lingtian. His eyes flickered, but in the end, he shook his head. My parents and master have taught me since I was young that I can't lose my will to play around. This includes gambling. Duan Lingtian, it's fine if you just want to spar, but if you want to find someone to bet contribution points with, you should find someone else. Although I want to bet with you, I can't disobey my master's orders. With that said, Huang Ting also left. He couldn't afford to offend them. He now felt that he really couldn't afford to offend Duan Lingtian. Although he didn't think that Duan Lingtian could defeat him in one move, didn't he see how terrified Xue Jin was? He had been at loggerheads with Xue Jin for many years, so he naturally knew what kind of person Xue Jin was. He was a person who wouldn't act until he saw a rabbit. The fact that he could remain calm in front of so many contribution points meant that he wasn't completely confident. Even Xue Jin was like this, let alone him who was slightly weaker than Xue Jin. Huang Ting, didn't you just bet contribution points with another inner sect disciple a while ago? Just as Huang Ting was about to leave, an inner sect disciple in the crowd asked curiously, I was there 2 months ago. Huang Ting bet 500 contribution points with that person and won. Soon, someone else chimed in. After a while, more people started to talk about this matter. Many people also talked about how Huang Ting bet contribution points with someone half a year ago, or even a year ago. Huang Ting, who had yet to leave the Internal Affairs Hall, staggered a few times. In the end, it was as though there was wind beneath his feet as he quickly left the Internal Affairs Hall, as though he had something urgent to do. Why do I feel like the people of the Tianlong clan are all shrewd? Duan Lingtian was speechless. Wasn't it just a bet of 10,000 contribution points? Was 10,000 contribution points a lot? Before today, he didn't even have a single contribution point. Now, he had 40,000 contribution points. Sighing, Duan Lingtian looked around and said, Everyone, if there are any senior brothers or junior sisters around you who need a limited limit meridian recovery divine pill, you can look for me. I still have 6 limited limit meridian recovery divine pills in my hands. Once they are sold out, they will be gone. The War of the Emperors is imminent. If the vein of the heaven is too severely injured, it will definitely affect the performance of one's strength when the War of the Emperors starts. Therefore, the limited limit meridian recovery divine pill is especially important at this time. As soon as Duan Lingtian finished speaking, many people started to stir. Seeing this, Duan Lingtian nodded in satisfaction. This was the effect he wanted. The reason why he said this was because he had overheard people whispering. He knew that the White Dragon Elder, Zhu Feiyu, was eager to get so many limited limit meridian recovery divine pills because his only son was severely injured outside. It would be difficult for him to recover without 80 to 100 years of effort. This time, when the War of the Emperors started, according to the rules of the Tianlong clan, anyone above the Divine King realm who was not dead had to participate in the War of the Emperors. Anyone who dared to desert would be severely punished. Under such circumstances, in order to let his son recover as soon as possible, Zhu Feiyu wanted to use the mission to exchange contribution points for limited limit meridian recovery divine pills. Before Zhu Feiyu issued the mission, the limited limit meridian recovery divine pill in the Tianlong clan was only worth 2,000 to 3,000 contribution points. Of course, this was just a price. Moreover, not everyone had a limited meridian recovery divine pill. In the past, although limited meridian recovery divine pills had appeared in the Tianlong clan, they were circulated in from outside. They were obtained by the elders and disciples of the Tianlong clan who went out. For example, the top god emperor level forces in Tunglung province had divine pill masters who had a certain probability of refining limited meridian recovery divine pills. The limited meridian recovery divine pills circulating in Tunglung province were basically from them, but the quantity was not large. There had always been a shortage of supply. Now that the Tianlong clan's War of the Emperors was imminent, whether in the Tianlong clan or Greater One sect, the limited meridian recovery divine pill was definitely more in demand. Duan Lingtian. Suddenly, a slightly hoarse voice sounded in Duan Lingtian's ears. The limited meridian recovery divine pill, the remaining 6, Greater One sect wants to take them. Greater One sect can exchange for it with divine crystals, and the value of the divine crystals will not be less than the 10,000 contribution points of the Tianlong clan. When Duan Lingtian heard the voice transmission, he looked around but could not see who was talking to him. Therefore, he naturally could not reply to the other party. "You don't have to look. I can't let you know who I am." The voice sounded again. "If you are willing, 10 days later at noon, at that time, there will naturally be people from Greater One sect who will come to you." Duan Lingtian smiled and did not respond. What a joke. At this time, if he really sold the limited meridian recovery divine pill to Greater One sect, if the people of the Tianlong clan knew about it, would they let him go? This was equivalent to a confrontation between two armies. If you provide help to the other side, this was a great crime. Moreover, who knew this was not a trap for him? Perhaps the other party was not a mole of Greater One sect hidden in the Tianlong clan, but the people of the Tianlong clan wrote and directed it. It may even be someone related to Kuang Tianzheng, who deliberately lured him away from the Tianlong temple. After all, the location that the other party said was outside the Tianlong temple. Therefore, he had no intention of going to that place. Moreover, he believed that it wouldn't be long before someone would come to buy the remaining 6 extreme limit meridian recovery divine pills at the price they were sold at before. However, thinking that the person who had just transmitted the message to him might be a mole of Greater One sect, Duan Lingtian still sent a message to Xue Haichuan to inform him. Xue Haichuan's response did not seem to be surprised. This kind of thing is very normal. Not only does Greater One sect have a mole in our Tianlong clan, but our Tianlong clan also has a lot of spies in Greater One sect. The spies on both sides are very careful and will not easily give themselves away. Xue Haichuan said. In the end, Xue Haichuan also reminded Duan Lingtian, and the content of the reminder was similar to what Duan Lingtian had thought before. The other party may be a mole, or may not be. If not, it was extremely frightening to think about. Brother Haichuan, don't worry. I naturally won't do as he said. Duan Lingtian smiled. After ending the communication with Xue Haichuan, Duan Lingtian suddenly had an idea in his mind. Should I take out these 6 limited meridian recovery divine pills and hold a small auction? In that way, the contribution points I can earn should not be less than 60,000 contribution points, and may even exceed 100,000 contribution points. This idea, as soon as it arose, was extinguished by Duan Lingtian himself. This was no different from making money from a national disaster. Thinking of this, Duan Lingtian felt a little uncomfortable. If I really want to earn so many contribution points, I will refine a few more limited meridian recovery divine pills. Making money from a national disaster was definitely not a good idea. Shaking his head, Duan Lingtian went to the other side of the Internal Affairs Palace, the place he had originally planned to go, but didn't manage to. That was where he could exchange his contribution points for various items. There should be something I need. Also, the materials I needed to refine some divine pills are hard to find around the Linghu family. The Tianlong clan, as a god emperor level force, should have some in stock. Thinking of this, Duan Lingtian's eyes brightened. While Duan Lingtian was still strolling around the Internal Affairs Palace, the people inside the palace were sending out messages, and the outside was not calm at all. To be more precise, those whose heavenly veins were damaged were unable to calm down. Limited meridian recovery divine pill? I thought that my heavenly veins which have been damaged for decades, would not be able to fully recover before the start of the war. I never thought that I would have the opportunity to exchange contribution points for a limited Meridian Recovery Divine Pill. This is great. It's only 10,000 contribution points. Worth it. What? 10,000 contribution points for a limited Meridian Recovery Divine Pill? Or is it Elder Huang Feiyu who raised the price? Crap, I don't have that many contribution points. Does that Duan Lingtian accept divine stones and divine crystals? And 6 limited Meridian Recovery Divine Pills? I need at least 3 to recover my heavenly veins. One figure after another walked out of the cultivation grounds and rushed towards the Internal Affairs Palace. Little Tian, you took out so many limited Meridian Recovery Divine Pills? In an extremely feminine room, Dongfang Yannian smiled and said to the young woman sitting cross-legged on the bed, Lear, weren't you worried that you would be a burden to me because of your damaged heavenly veins? Once your heavenly veins recover, you won't have to worry about this problem. End of chapter. Chapter 38-31. Mackerel fruit? This is dream grass? And this magnolia flower? Duan Lingtian pocketed his 40,000 contribution points and went to the herb and material exchange area at the side of the Internal Affairs Hall. Soon, he saw many things that he had wanted in the past but could not obtain. Even if the former head of the Linghu family, Linghu Renjia, was willing to help him search for those things, he was powerless to do so. That was because those things were too rare. Furthermore, the moment they appeared, they were all collected by others. This was because these were all herbs used to refine divine pills that aided in the cultivation of godly kings. They were hard currency, and there was no need to worry about demand. In addition, at the divine pill exchange area, Duan Lingtian also saw the divine pills refined from the herbs he had seen earlier. However, the price was much more expensive. It was far more expensive than pure materials. Duan Lingtian could understand this. After all, these divine pills were king and emperor-level divine pills. Even if he had the materials, not everyone could successfully refine them. Moreover, the success rate of refining pills was also related to the process of refining pills. Of course, Duan Lingtian himself was a divine pill master. To him, it was naturally more cost-effective to directly exchange for the materials. To him, it was a great loss to exchange for the finished product. He was fully confident that he could refine king-level divine pills. To him, the value of exchanging for the materials was much higher than that of other divine pill masters. It seems that with the cultivation resources I can obtain from the Tianlong clan, I will be able to break through to become a high-level godly king very soon. Even the godly emperor realm is not far away. Duan Lingtian's eyes gradually lit up. Then, Duan Lingtian began to buy the materials he needed for refining pills. 40,000 contribution points was not a small amount, but it was not a large amount either. Under his unrestrained spending, he had almost used them all up in 15 minutes. Elder, since I'm such a big customer, shouldn't you give me a discount or something? Is there no wholesale price for these materials sold by the sect? After paying the bill and storing the pile of materials into his storage ring, Duan Lingtian looked at the Internal Affairs Hall elder in charge of exchanging materials with contribution points and asked with a smile. When the Internal Affairs Hall elder heard Duan Lingtian's words, he couldn't help but smile bitterly. Duan Lingtian, this is not something I can decide. If I was doing business outside and you helped me like this, I would definitely give you a good price. But this is the sect, and these materials are not mine. I don't have the right to set the price. Duan Lingtian was not surprised by the Internal Affairs Hall elder's words, because he had already guessed that this would be the case. He was only holding on to a sliver of hope and casually asked. If there was really a slight possibility of a discount, he might be able to get a discount when buying materials in the future. Little Tian. Just as Duan Lingtian was about to leave the Internal Affairs Hall, he received a message from Dongfang Yannian. Are you still in the Internal Affairs Hall? Brother Yannian? Duan Lingtian was stunned for a moment before he quickly said, I'm in the Internal Affairs Hall. Brother Yannian, is there something you need? I'll head over right now. Dongfang Yannian said, leave 3 of your remaining Limit Meridian Recovery Divine Pills for me. I'll buy them from you at the price you sold them for before. 10,000 contribution points for one. Duan Lingtian smiled bitterly. Brother Yannian, if you want them, I'll give them to you. No, even if we are friends, that's a separate matter. As the saying goes, even between brothers, things should be settled clearly. It's already good that you left me 3. If I'm not mistaken, you'll soon have a group of people buying Limit Meridian Recovery Divine Pills from you. Almost at the same time that Dongfang Yannian finished speaking, Duan Lingtian heard a clamor in his ears. Duan Lingtian is over there. Duan Lingtian, sell me a few Limit Meridian Recovery Divine Pills. Duan Lingtian, in the blink of an eye, before Duan Lingtian could respond to Dongfang Yannian, a group of people had surrounded Duan Lingtian. These people were basically the inner sect elders of the Tianlong clan. Among them were 2 white dragon elders. They had all come for Limit Meridian Recovery Divine Pills. With so many people wanting to buy Limit Meridian Recovery Divine Pills, Duan Lingtian felt a bit of a headache. Although he had guessed that there would be people wanting to buy his remaining Limit Meridian Recovery Divine Pills, he didn't expect so many people to specially rush over. Moreover, they were all staring at him like hungry wolves that had seen their prey. Elders, Duan Lingtian was the first to express his stance in the face of the crowd's chatter. Among the 6 Supreme Meridian Recovery Divine Pills in my possession, I've already sold 3 of them earlier. Now, I only have 3 Supreme Meridian Recovery Divine Pills left. See if you want to discuss among yourselves who to give the 3 Limit Meridian Recovery Divine Pills to. Duan Lingtian said, as for the price, it's still 10,000 contribution points per pill. It could be said that for Duan Lingtian to be able to do this, he could definitely be considered a kind seller. However, the development of the situation was often out of Duan Lingtian's expectations. Almost at the same time he finished speaking, someone shouted, Duan Lingtian, I'll pay 12,000 contribution points for 1 Limit Meridian Recovery Divine Pill. Sell it to me. The next moment, another person followed suit and said, I'll pay 15,000 contribution points. I'll take all 3. 50,000 contribution points. Sell all 3 to me. A group of people called out prices one after another. In the end, when Dongfang Yannian arrived, the 2 white dragon elders had even raised the price of the 3 Limit Meridian Recovery Divine Pills to 100,000 contribution points. 3 pills for 100,000 contribution points? Dongfang Yannian, who had just arrived, was shocked. At the same time, he looked at Duan Lingtian and said with a bitter smile, Little Tian, all my contribution points added together is only 70,000. As for the rest, how about I return it to you later? Right now, Dongfang Yannian was truly embarrassed. On one hand, he didn't want to take advantage of Duan Lingtian. On the other hand, he didn't have that many contribution points. Brother Yannian, what are you saying? They're blindly making a ruckus. I didn't even have a chance to say anything. Duan Lingtian said in a somewhat speechless manner. Right after that, one of the white dragon elders called out a price of 110,000 contribution points. After ending this auction, Duan Lingtian finally had a chance to speak. Elders, I believe that you're all buying Limit Meridian Recovery Divine Pills for the upcoming Emperor battle. As for me, I really don't have that many Limit Meridian Recovery Divine Pills. However, I don't plan on letting you all bid. For Limit Meridian Recovery Divine Pills, I'll still sell them to the elder with the highest price at 10,000 contribution points each. As for the other elders, I can now refine the Limit Meridian Recovery Divine Pills that you all need. However, I'll need you to prepare the materials. Additionally, I'll need to add a processing fee. As for the processing fee, you can choose to use 10,000 contribution points or some of the medicinal herbs that I'll list out later. Before I leave the Internal Affairs Hall, I'll leave the names of those medicinal herbs for you. Of course, if you use medicinal herbs, you'll be left with quite a lot of contribution points. After that, Duan Lingtian split the 6 Limit Meridian Recovery Divine Pills between Dongfang Yannian and another White Dragon Elder. After receiving 60,000 contribution points, he took out a pen and paper and wrote down the names of some of the medicinal herbs that he needed. These medicinal herbs were things that Duan Lingtian hadn't seen in the Internal Affairs Hall at the moment. Some of them just happened to be sold out in the Internal Affairs Hall. There were also some that weren't very common even in the Internal Affairs Hall. Duan Lingtian. After reading the list of medicinal herbs that Duan Lingtian had written down, an inner sect elder gave Duan Lingtian a thumbs up. This is the first time that I'm sincerely convinced by an inner sect disciple of the Tianlong clan. You clearly had the opportunity to earn a large amount of contribution points, but you gave it up because you didn't want to sacrifice so much for us. Many years later, if you have a chance to fight for the position of clan leader, I'll definitely support you. I just feel that with the War of Emperors at hand, I shouldn't take advantage of the situation. Duan Lingtian smiled and said, I also hope that all the elders and your families will be able to enter the War of Emperors in one piece and come out safe and sound. At this moment, all the Tianlong clan elders and disciples who had personally witnessed the sequence of events looked at Duan Lingtian in a different light. It could be said that at this moment, Duan Lingtian's character had completely convinced these people. In the past, I only heard that Duan Lingtian's talent and comprehension were heaven-defying, so I thought that he must be a junior with good luck. Today, after seeing Duan Lingtian's character, I can't help but feel that it's only natural for you to be where you are today. Perhaps it's because of Duan Lingtian's selflessness that allowed him to cultivate so smoothly and become a medium divine king at such a young age. Duan Lingtian, if you ever need any help in the future, as long as it's within my power, I won't refuse. The surrounding crowd was full of praises for Duan Lingtian. Even though Duan Lingtian had experienced a lot along the way, he still felt a little overwhelmed and his cheeks were burning. Selflessness? He knew that he wasn't worthy of these 4 words. If it weren't for the impending emperor battle and the fact that the ultimate meridian recovery pill concerned the lives of some Tianlong clan elders and disciples who had entered the emperor battle plane, he would have really wanted to maximize his profits and earn as much as he could. Even Duan Lingtian himself hadn't expected that today's trip to the Internal Affairs Hall would make him a figure praised by everyone in the Tianlong clan. They all said that he had the demeanor of a future clan leader. Duan Lingtian was worried that the current clan leader of the Tianlong clan would come looking for trouble because of this. Fortunately, he hadn't come. Of course, Duan Lingtian also knew that the clan leader of the Tianlong clan would definitely praise him for what he had done. He definitely wouldn't denounce him. After all, what he had done was beneficial to the Tianlong clan. Perhaps because of his good deed this time, the Tianlong clan would have fewer casualties in the Emperor battle plane in the future. When I told Hua Tian that I might have become a divine emperor by the time the Emperor battle begins, I was just saying it casually. But based on the current situation, it's really possible. A few Tianlong clan elders had sent Duan Lingtian various herbs that the Internal Affairs Hall didn't have as a processing fee. Duan Lingtian felt that he might be able to break through to the Divine Emperor realm within 5 years. These herbs were all used to refine various divine pills that aided the cultivation of divine kings. Chapter 38-32. The Ultimate Meridian Restoring Divine Pill was one of the most difficult king-grade divine pills to refine. Even the number 1 divine pill master of the Tianlong clan, the former clan master of the Tianlong clan, had never been able to refine it. Now that Duan Lingtian wanted to refine the Ultimate Meridian Restoring Divine Pill, it naturally attracted a lot of attention. Originally, Duan Lingtian had planned to refine the Ultimate Meridian Restoring Divine Pill in private. However, he didn't expect Xue Haichuan to come to him directly and tell him that the clan master wanted him to refine the Ultimate Meridian Restoring Divine Pill in public. In return, the clan master was willing to help him gather all the herbs he needed and spare no effort. Moreover, the limit was 300,000 contribution points. 300,000 contribution points was actually not a lot for Duan Lingtian now. Currently, he had received more than 50 orders to refine the Ultimate Meridian Restoring Divine Pill, which were worth more than 500,000 contribution points. However, Duan Lingtian was still tempted. The Tianlong clan's efforts to gather herbs for him would definitely be more efficient than the Tianlong clan elders who needed his help to refine the Ultimate Meridian Restoring Divine Pill. I really didn't expect the Ultimate Meridian Restoring Divine Pill to bring me such great benefits. This was something Duan Lingtian didn't expect. As for refining the Ultimate Meridian Restoring Divine Pill in public, it was nothing to Duan Lingtian. After all, the way of divine pills relied on restraint. The most important thing was to sense the vitality in the spiritual chi of heaven and earth, as well as the steps to extract it. These 2 steps, which were extremely difficult in the eyes of ordinary divine pill masters, were not difficult for Duan Lingtian, who had a divine tree of life in his small world. Before coming to the Tianlong clan, he had already refined the ultimate Emperor-grade divine pill, but the success rate was higher because it was easier to refine the ultimate Emperor-grade divine pill. Even so, Duan Lingtian's alchemy skills were second to none in Tunglong province. This was because no one in the Tunglong province could refine ultimate Emperor-level divine pellets as easily as Duan Lingtian, even the ones that were easier to refine. There had been people who had refined a limit Emperor-level divine pill before, but it was mostly due to luck. It was extremely difficult to replicate and refine a second limit Emperor-level divine pill. Of course, Duan Lingtian had no intention of exposing the fact that he had refined a limit Emperor-grade divine pellet. It was better to reveal some of his trump cards appropriately. To him, the pros outweighed the cons. However, once he revealed too much, he would not be able to control it properly. The cons would outweigh the pros. Duan Lingtian had been doing his best to maintain this balance. He didn't dare to act recklessly, as if he was treading on thin ice. However, even if the news of me being able to refine an ultimate limit meridian recovery divine pill spreads, the few peak god emperor forces in Tunglong province would not be able to sit still. This was something that Duan Lingtian had already expected. He even felt that his performance in the Hidden Dragon Grand competition was enough to attract the attention of those peak god emperor forces in Tunglong province. As for why they didn't send anyone over, it was probably related to the Tianlong clan and Supreme Esect's emperor battle. If a talented young man could survive the baptism of an emperor battle, his future achievements would definitely be higher than if he didn't participate in the emperor battle. Therefore, under such circumstances, those peak god emperor forces would definitely be happy for Duan Lingtian to participate in the emperor battle. As long as Duan Lingtian could survive the emperor battle, they would immediately extend an olive branch to Duan Lingtian after the emperor battle ended. Moreover, once the emperor battle started, the peak god emperor forces in Tunglong province, according to the tradition of Tunglong province, could not casually poach people from other peak god emperor forces. Of course, when they said they couldn't poach people, they mainly meant that they couldn't poach god emperor experts. On this day, a group of people gathered in the valley where the inner sect disciples cultivated. Among these people, there were many white dragon elders, and even some black dragon elders. What's going on? Why are there so many white dragon elders here? Moreover, even 2 black dragon elders have come. These 2 black dragon elders seem to be one of the few god alchemists in our Tianlong clan, right? Some of the inner sect disciples who had been cultivating in seclusion recently and had just walked out of their cultivation grounds looked at the vast group of people in the sky above the valley. They were a little stunned. However, as others in the know explained the situation to them, they also understood the ins and outs of the matter. Duan Lingtian will start refining the Ultimate Limit Meridian Recovery Divine Pill in public today. The Ultimate Limit Meridian Recovery Divine Pill is one of the hardest king-grade divine pills to refine. He can actually refine it? Is this a joke? Yes. Although he could refine Ultimate Spirit-grade divine pills whenever he wanted when he was in the Linghu family, the Ultimate Spirit-grade divine pill and the Ultimate King-grade divine pill are 2 completely different concepts, especially the Ultimate Meridian Recovery divine pill, which is one of the hardest king-grade divine pills to refine. He once took out 10 Ultimate Limit Meridian Recovery divine pills in the Internal Affairs Hall and said he refined them. I think we don't have to question him anymore. When he refines the Meridian Recovery divine pill in public, we'll know if he can refine the Ultimate Limit Meridian Recovery divine pill. That's true. After the valley became lively, more and more inner sect disciples walked out of their residences. Many inner sect elders even came over to join in the fun. As time passed, even some inner sect deacons and outer sect elders came over. If it was not for the restrictions on the inner sect disciples' cultivation area, which prevented outer sect disciples and outer sect deacons from coming over, more people would have come. In fact, not many of those who came to join in the fun were divine pill masters. They came mainly to see if Duan Lingtian could really refine the Ultimate Limit Meridian Recovery divine pill. Duan Lingtian can actually refine the ultimate limit meridian recovery divine pill? Ding Yin, who had just returned from a mission outside, had a shocked expression on his face. At this moment, there was a beautiful young lady standing next to Ding Yin. She was dressed in a fiery red long dress, but there was a hint of arrogance between her brows. Ding Yin, that Duan Lingtian, he's your friend, right? The young lady glanced at Ding Yin indifferently and asked in an indifferent tone.
Yes.
Ding Yin nodded. Then a bitter smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. This young lady had been forced by Uncle Sikong to go on a mission with him. Along the way, she had not taken the initiative to talk to him. He did not expect that she would take the initiative to talk to him now because of Duan Lingtian. Did he owe this to Duan Lingtian? Thinking of this, Ding Yin laughed at himself. Before he returned to the Tianlong clan, he had expressed to his Uncle Sikong that he wanted to call off the engagement with this young lady. Otherwise, he would not have followed them back. At that time, his Uncle Sikong had no choice but to agree. After that, although this eldest young miss, who was his Uncle Sikong's daughter, didn't target him like before because of the annulment of the engagement, she was incomparably cold to him and always looked down on him. No matter what, he was still a man. Although they were no longer fated to be husband and wife, being looked down on by a woman like this was a strong challenge to his pride as a man. A large part of the reason why he was able to improve so much over the years was because of this woman's contempt. Humph! Sikong Yu snorted coldly and said in disdain, "Birds of a feather flock together. Someone who is willing to be friends with you, Ding Yin, is probably not much better. Refining a limit meridian recovery pill? I think it's just empty talk. I'm afraid that refining it in front of everyone today will be a disgrace." Sikong Yu's words seemed to have determined that it was impossible for Ding Yan's friend to refine a limit meridian recovery pill. It was already rare for someone to have such strength before they were 3,000 years old. Wanting to have such achievements in the Tao of divine pills? Looking at the history of Tunglong province, there had probably never been such an existence. Sikong Yu. Ding Yan's expression instantly became ugly. "It's fine if you look down on me. I'm indeed inferior to you. But you don't have the qualifications to look down on Duan Lingtian. Although you're a higher divine king, do you dare say that you're a match for Duan Lingtian?" As he finished speaking, the corners of Ding Yan's mouth curled into a mocking smile. Sikong Yu was the Azure Dragon disciple of the Tianlong clan. His status and treatment in the Tianlong clan surpassed that of inner sect disciples and was comparable to inner sect elders. Of course, if Duan Lingtian were to participate in the Azure Dragon Disciple test now, he would definitely pass smoothly. Azure Dragon Disciple was an honor bestowed to the genius disciples of the clan by the Tianlong clan. The Azure Dragon Disciple test targeted different ages and had different levels of difficulty. The younger the age, the easier the test. You have to know that Duan Lingtian is even younger than me, and you are even older than me by a few hundred years. As Ding Yin finished speaking, the mocking smile on his face grew thicker, and Sikong Yu's expression also became ugly as Ding Yin finished speaking. Everyone has their own fortuitous encounters. Even if this Duan Lingtian is stronger than me now, it's only because his luck is better than mine. If all the fortuitous encounters he encountered along the way were given to me, Sikong Yu, I would absolutely not be inferior to him. As Sikong Yu finished speaking, his tone was resolute and filled with deep confidence. When Ding Yin heard Sikong Yu's words, he couldn't help but sneer. "Sikong Yu, you have the face to say this? Then why don't you say that Duan Lingtian is from a Devata realm and doesn't have any background to rely on, whereas you have the support of Uncle Sikong since you were young? 1,000 years ago, you were an Azure Dragon disciple in the Tianlong clan and enjoyed treatment equivalent to an inner sect elder. Is this something that Duan Lingtian can compare to? It's fine if you mock me. I, Ding Yin, am indeed inferior to you and don't have the confidence to debate with you. But you really can't compare to Duan Lingtian. As for you saying he can't refine a limit meridian recovery divine pill, I find it even more laughable. It's absolutely impossible for the Duan Lingtian I know to joke about something like this. In the past, Ding Yin had always endured Sikong Yu's ridicule, and he had a belly full of anger. It was fine if Sikong Yu was only talking about him, and he could endure it. But when Sikong Yu said he was a friend, Ding Yin couldn't endure it any longer and completely exploded. Chapter 38-33. Ding Yin. Sikong Yu stared at Ding Yin. At this moment, her pair of beautiful autumn eyes were suffused with an ice-cold killing intent. If it wasn't for the fact that your father is my father's good friend, I would have killed you several times over for your contemptuous words. The Tianlong clan's rule of not killing each other is useless against me. You should be aware of this. As he spoke, the cold glint in Sikong Yu's eyes grew even stronger. It was like a blade, like a sword, extremely sharp. I know, Ding Yin said indifferently, it's naturally easy for you, Sikong Yu, to take my life. However, I, Ding Yin, won't even bat an eyelid. I owe Uncle Sikong a lot. As Uncle Sikong's daughter, I'll accept it if you can repay his kindness with your life if you kill me. Currently, Ding Yin was like a dead pig that was unafraid of boiling water. Sikong Yu was so angry that her chest heaved up and down like a bellows. Her divine energy was about to surge out of her body, but she forced herself not to make a move. Ding Yin, even if my father allows me to travel with you in the Emperor battle in 4 years, I won't travel with you. Today, you've completely infuriated me. Sikong Yu said coldly, in the Emperor battle realm, even if I, Sikong Yu, saw that you were about to be killed, I still wouldn't save you. However, Ding Yin smiled when he heard Sikong Yu's words. I never planned to travel with you in the Emperor battle in 4 years. If Uncle Sikong really arranged it that way, I would have rejected it myself. As for you not saving me in the Emperor battle, I won't have any complaints. If I die in there, I can only say that I, Ding Yin, am not strong enough and have bad luck. Ding Yan's indifferent expression angered Sikong Yu to the point that her pretty face turned increasingly ugly. In the end, she simply ignored Ding Yin and followed the crowd's gazes, looking towards a courtyard within the inner sect disciples' training grounds. This courtyard was also the focus of everyone's attention. This was because Duan Lingtian lived in it. Alchemist Duan, it's time for you to come out. One of the 2 black dragon elders present called out very politely. The black dragon elder was dressed in a long green robe. He had white hair and a ruddy complexion. He looked as though he had attained the Tao. He was the only black dragon elder in the Tianlong clan who came from a Devata realm. One could say that he was from the Duan Lingtian's hometown, but he was not a native of the realms of gods. Duan Lingtian had once refined an ultimate spirit-grade divine pill, and a few days ago, he had taken out 10 ultimate meridian-restoring divine pills. Now, he even threatened to refine an ultimate meridian-restoring divine pill in public. As a god alchemist, Duan Lingtian had already gained the approval of this black dragon elder. Moreover, he knew Duan Lingtian was from a Devata realm, so he had a good impression of Duan Lingtian. He did not treat Duan Lingtian as a junior at all. Although it was possible that Duan Lingtian was unable to refine an ultimate meridian-restoring divine pill, the people present on the scene did not think it was likely. If Duan Lingtian was unable to refine an ultimate meridian-restoring divine pill, would he dare to say he would refine it in public? The people present on the scene were unaware that Duan Lingtian was refining pills in public because the sect leader of the Tianlong clan had asked Xue Haichuan to relay a message to Duan Lingtian. Not many people in the Tianlong clan were aware of this. At the very least, the people present at the inner sect disciples' cultivation area were unaware of this. In a room in the courtyard, Duan Lingtian was cultivating with his eyes closed. All of a sudden, Duan Lingtian opened his eyes when he heard the voice from outside. He was stunned. It's time. Last time, Xue Haichuan had passed the Sky Dragon sect's sect master's message to him. He had also specifically told Xue Haichuan that he needed him to go out and demonstrate how to refine the Limit Meridian Recovery Divine Pill. He had also sent him a message to remind him that he was worried that he would be delayed because of cultivation. However, before Xue Haichuan's message arrived, Duan Lingtian was woken up by someone else. Brother Haichuan, is today the day you're going to refine pills in public? Duan Lingtian asked Xue Haichuan through voice transmission. Huh. Xue Haichuan was stunned as well. Is it today? I asked Dongfang Yannian to send me a message today, but he didn't send me a message at all. That guy is really unreliable. Duan Lingtian was speechless when he heard Shui Haichuan ridiculing Dongfang Yannian. I didn't even say you were unreliable, and you're blaming me? After a short while, Duan Lingtian had just gotten out of bed when Dongfang Yinyan's message arrived. Little Tian, I'm really sorry. I've been helping your sister-in-law recover her heavenly meridians and didn't pay attention to the time, so I forgot to remind Shui Haichuan. Duan Lingtian couldn't help but shake his head when he heard this. It was obvious that Shui Haichuan had definitely sent a message to ridicule Dongfang Yannian. Otherwise, Dongfang Yannian wouldn't have sent him a message to apologize. After exchanging a few pleasantries with Dongfang Yannian, Duan Lingtian walked out of the room and stepped into the air. So many people? Only now did he carefully look at the top of the canyon. He immediately saw a black mass of people that covered the sky. He's Duan Lingtian? He's really young. I heard he's not even 3,000 years old. He's not even 3,000 years old, but his strength is at the peak of the inner sect disciples. Moreover, he knows how to refine ultimate king-grade divine pills? What a monster! As soon as Duan Lingtian appeared, he attracted everyone's attention. Many people who were seeing him for the first time couldn't help but exclaim in awe. Master Duan. At the same time, Duan Lingtian saw an old man with white hair and a ruddy complexion who was dressed in a Taoist robe flying toward him. His face was filled with a kind smile. Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes. After a short while, he confirmed the old man's identity through the identity token on his waist. He was the Black Dragon Elder of the Tianlong clan. Master Duan, I'm Yuan Gangming, the Black Dragon Elder of the Tianlong clan. The old man arrived in front of Duan Lingtian and introduced himself politely. Elder Yuan. Duan Lingtian greeted the old man. This was not his first time hearing the old man's name. Previously, when he was chatting with Shui Haichuan had mentioned this old man. The reason Shui Haichuan mentioned this old man was because, like him, the old man was not a native of the realms of gods. Both of them were from the Devata realms. Moreover, Shui Haichuan had also said this old man was an emperor-grade divine alchemist. He was one of the most outstanding divine alchemists in the Tianlong clan, apart from the old ancestor, Master Duan. After a short while, another Black Dragon Elder stepped forward and greeted Duan Lingtian. This old man was dressed in a light gray robe. He had a medium build and an ordinary appearance. He was the kind of person who would be difficult to spot in a crowd. Before the gray-clad old man could even speak, Yuan Gangming had already taken the initiative to introduce him to Duan Lingtian. Master Duan, this is Ho Fong, old geezer Ho. His strength is ordinary, and he's barely on par with me. However, in terms of divine pills, he's slightly inferior to me. Nonsense. As soon as Yuan Gangming finished speaking, Ho Fong shouted angrily, Yuan Gangming, do you want to compete or what? Are you saying my attainment in divine alchemy is inferior to yours? With your half-baked skills, you have the face to say such things? Seeing that the two old men were about to quarrel, Duan Lingtian smiled awkwardly. The two of you didn't come here today to quarrel in front of so many people, right? As soon as Duan Lingtian said this, the two old men fell silent. Yuan Gangming snorted coldly, Old Ghost Ho, today I'm not going to argue with you because of Master Duan's face. Ho Fong was not to be outdone. It's because of Master Duan that I'm not going to argue with you. The two of you. Duan Lingtian smiled bitterly. No matter who is going to argue with who, let's talk about it after I finish refining the divine alchemy. I'll only refine 3 meridian restoring divine pills in front of everyone. As soon as Duan Lingtian said this, the two old men finally stopped quarreling. However, they were still staring at each other. Duan Lingtian felt a little helpless. Were these two old men really the Tianlong clan's Black Dragon Elders and high-level divine emperors? Why did they look more like two old hooligans and scoundrels? This was especially true for Yuan Gangming. He had the demeanor of an immortal and looked like an enlightened expert. However, at the moment, he was like an unreasonable woman who kept on chattering. His inner and outer appearance were two extremes. At this moment, an indifferent voice seemed to come from all directions. You two old men, get out of my way. Don't disturb Duan Lingtian, when he's refining the divine alchemy. Otherwise, I don't mind sparring with you personally. You can join forces. I don't mind. This was an indifferent voice. Although it sounded old, it was full of energy. When they heard this voice, Yuan Gangming and Ho Fong, who were still staring at each other, immediately returned to their original serious appearance. At the same time, they cupped their hands and bowed to the people around them. Old sect leader, I'll go to the side now. Old sect leader, please calm down. As soon as the two of them said this, an uproar broke out in the surroundings. That voice just now, was it the old sect leader? In the Tianlong clan, the old sect leader's status was equivalent to the Golden Dragon Elders. It was said that the old ancestor was not only highly accomplished in the divine alchemy Dao, but he had also caused several top emperor gods in Tunglung province to extend an olive branch to him many times. His strength was also not inferior to the other Golden Dragon Elders in the Tianlong clan. In the Tianlong clan, the old sect leader was an elusive figure. Very few people had seen him before. Because of this, although his voice had sounded earlier, only Yuan Gangming and Ho Fong, who were both Black Dragon Elders, could tell it was his voice. Old sect leader? Duan Lingtian was surprised. He did not expect the old sect leader of the Tianlong clan would also be paying attention to him now. This old man is still spying on me secretly. Is he trying to secretly learn how to refine the Supreme Meridian Restoration Divine Pill from me? Duan Lingtian's current thoughts were not known to the old sect leader. Otherwise, the old sect leader would most likely show up and kill him directly. Now, many of the onlookers were whispering among themselves. Even the old sect leader is paying attention to this? It seems that he is also very interested in Duan Lingtian's method of refining the Supreme Meridian Restoration Divine Pill. Do you think, after the old sect leader observed Duan Lingtian's method of refining the Supreme Meridian Restoration Divine Pill, will he also be able to refine the Supreme Meridian Restoration Divine Pill? I think he definitely can. Even if Duan Lingtian can refine the Supreme Meridian Restoration Divine Pill and the old sect leader can't, I don't think we can say that the old sect leader's attainment in the Divine Pill Dao is inferior to Duan Lingtian's. It must be that Duan Lingtian has mastered the technique of refining the Supreme Meridian Restoration Divine Pill. If the old sect leader knew about this technique, he would definitely be able to refine the Supreme Meridian Restoration Divine Pill. I also don't believe that Duan Lingtian's attainment in the Divine Pill Dao is higher than the old sect leaders. Chapter 38-34. The old sect leader of the Tianlong clan was a legendary figure in the Tianlong clan. Most of the Tianlong clan disciples regarded him as their idol. Even the remaining disciples admired him very much. In their opinion, this was not the case. Even if such a person did not refine the ultimate limit meridian restoring divine pill, it could only be said that he did not grasp the trick and failed to refine it. As for Duan Lingtian, it was most likely due to his good luck that he managed to obtain the technique to refine the Supreme Limit Meridian Recovery Divine Pill. Today, as long as the old sect leader watched Duan Lingtian refine the Ultimate Limit Meridian Restoring Divine Pill, he would definitely be able to refine the Ultimate Limit Meridian Restoring Divine Pill as well. Who knows, maybe the trick Duan Lingtian used to refine the Ultimate Limit Meridian Restoring Divine Pill can be used to refine other Ultimate Limit King Grade Divine Pills. If that's the case, once the old sect leader grasps the trick, he'll be able to refine the Ultimate Limit King Grade Divine Pills at will. He might even be able to refine the Ultimate Limit Emperor Grade Divine Pills. The Ultimate Limit Emperor Grade Divine Pill. If the old sect leader can really refine such a divine pill, I'm afraid he'll be ranked in the top 3 in the entire Tunglung province in terms of divine pill Dao. However, Duan Lingtian is really lucky to have grasped the trick to refine the Ultimate Limit Meridian Restoring Divine Pill. I wonder where he got it from. Divine Pill Masters, watch carefully. Who knows, maybe you'll be able to refine the Ultimate Limit Divine Pill after you've grasped the trick. When their eyes fell on Duan Lingtian again, most of them were filled with curiosity and anticipation, but most of them were filled with eagerness and desire. Trick? Although the group of Tianlong clan disciples were whispering among themselves, Duan Lingtian could hear them clearly. He could not help but laugh inwardly. These fellows would most likely be disappointed in a while. Trick? Naturally, he had it. However, no one was able to learn his tricks. I have the divine tree of life in my body from the ruins of a realm of gods. Do you have the same in your lesser worlds? Ever since Duanling Tian arrived in the realms of gods, he had learned many things that he did not know before, including the world-cleansing divine water, one of the 5 divine elements, did not tell him. Perhaps, even the world-cleansing divine water wasn't sure. As it turned out, when a realm of gods was reduced to ruins, the ruins of the realm of gods would fall into spatial turbulence at the same time. No one would be able to track it down. Moreover, although the divine tree of life could be found in the ruins of a realm of gods, the divine tree of life would be destroyed along with the realm of gods. Duanling Tian's divine tree of life had survived the destruction of the realm of gods due to the world-cleansing divine water. That was the only reason it was able to survive. If Duanling Tian did not enter the ruins of the realm of gods and take the divine tree of life away, the divine tree of life would have withered in just a few years. After all, the world-cleansing divine water was not omnipotent. It could not keep the divine tree of life in the ruins of a realm of gods. Is it possible that he can refine the ultimate limit meridian restoring divine pill? Si Kongyu frowned when he heard the whispers of the inner disciples around him and saw the indifferent expression on Duan Lingtian's face. He found it hard to believe. How could someone like Duan Lingtian be friends with Ding Yin? Was Duan Lingtian blind? Ding Yin, who was standing not far away from Si Kongyu, was not surprised. However, he was worried about Duan Lingtian. Therefore, he sent a message to Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian, if you really have the trick to refining the ultimate limit meridian restoring divine pill, it's best if you keep it a secret. Although it's selfish of you, there's no need for you to reveal your secret to someone else. Old sect master, if you really want the secret, ask him to exchange it for something else. To be honest, if you really have such a secret, it's not something that can be measured by ordinary things. Although Ding Yan's words were selfish, they were for Duan Lingtian's sake. Even if he could not keep the secret, he could still ask for some benefits. There was no need for him to give the secret to someone else, even if the other party was the old sect master of the Tianlong clan. To him, no matter how high Duan Lingtian's status in the Tianlong clan was, he was still a stranger. Moreover, if Duan Lingtian was not the old sect master of the Tianlong clan but his uncle Sikong, who treated him like his own son, he would have reminded Duan Lingtian the same way. It was not that he was ungrateful, but that was another matter altogether. If it was something that belonged to him, he would give it to his uncle Sikong unconditionally. However, it did not belong to him. It belonged to Duan Lingtian, and Duan Lingtian was his friend. Naturally, he would not be so selfish as to ask Duan Lingtian to give it away for free. Don't worry. In response to Ding Yan's reminder, Duan Lingtian felt a warmth in his heart. He quickly replied, "No one can learn my secret." No one can learn it? Ding Yin was stunned. Then, he sent a message with some disappointment. Then this secret cannot be exchanged for any benefits. A secret that no one can learn. You can imagine how desperate the old sect master and the other divine alchemists present would be if they knew this now. Let's begin. The old sect master of the Tianlong clan's voice once again reverberated in all directions, landing heavily in Duan Lingtian's ears. Obviously, he was very anxious about Duan Lingtian refining the ultimate meridian recovery divine pill. Usually, Duan Lingtian would hide in his own residence to refine pills. Due to the restrictions of the array, even a high-level divine emperor would not be able to spy on Duan Lingtian while he refined pills without alerting Duan Lingtian. Moreover, once Duan Lingtian was alerted, Duan Lingtian would definitely stop refining pills. That would not achieve the goal of spying on Duan Lingtian. It would be meaningless. Yes. After all, the other party was the old sect master of the Tianlong clan. Even if the old sect master was not in front of him, Duan Lingtian still did not dare to be presumptuous. Then, in front of everyone, he began to refine pills. It was just like how he usually refined pills. It was as light as the clouds and breezy as the wind. He did as he pleased. Although his technique is practiced, this level of proficiency is something that any outstanding king-grade divine alchemist would be able to do. It seems like Duan Lingtian's secret lies in sensing the life force in the heaven and earth spiritual qi, as well as extracting the life force from the heaven and earth spiritual qi. Some of the divine alchemists present muttered similar words to themselves. Up until now, Duan Lingtian's refining technique had been standard and cautious. However, there was nothing outstanding about it. They were sure that most of them could do the same. He's going to start sensing the life force in the heaven and earth spiritual qi. Soon, Duan Lingtian reached the critical moment of refining the Meridian Restoration Divine Pill. He began to sense the life force in the heaven and earth spiritual qi. This was also the first time Duan Lingtian was refining a divine pill in the Tianlong clan. It had to be said that the Tianlong clan was worthy of being called a God Emperor grade divine stone sect. The heaven and earth spiritual qi in the Tianlong temple was extremely rich. It was not something that Duan Lingtian's Linghu family could compare to. Duan Lingtian could sense the life energy in the heaven and earth spirit energy here. He could not help but sigh inwardly. The life energy in the heaven and earth spirit energy here is enough for me to refine an ordinary emperor grade divine pill into a supreme divine pill. It's more than enough to refine an ultimate emperor grade divine pill. Although there were thousands of thoughts in his mind, Duan Lingtian's movements did not slow down at all. He was familiar with the process of extracting the life force in the heaven and earth spiritual qi. At first, the divine alchemists present did not think much of it. However, when they saw the life force flowing into the pill cauldron, they were stunned. This much? The Black Dragon Elder, Yuan Gongming's pupil shrank rapidly as a look of shock appeared on his face. On the other side, the other Black Dragon Elder, Ho Fong, who was not on good terms with Yuan Gangming, did not expose him. How did he do it? How can he extract so much life force? Even the old sect master can't do this, right? Moreover, looking at his method of extracting the life force, it's obviously very crude and direct. Obviously, he sensed a large amount of life force, and the life force does not seem to reject him, allowing him to use such a simple and crude method to guide it. At this point, Ho Fong did not know what to say anymore. Did Duan Lingtian have a knack for it? Obviously not. It was said that the deeper one's attainment in the heaven and earth spiritual qi, the more life force one could sense. However, the old sect master of the Tianlong clan was an expert in the law of life. His comprehension of the law of life was definitely stronger than Duan Lingtian's. Even so, the old sect master's efficiency in sensing the life force in the heaven and earth spiritual qi was still not as good as Duan Lingtian's. Moreover, it was not just a little bit, but a lot. With so much life force, if he can't refine the ultimate Meridian Restoration Divine Pill, then his alchemy skills are really bad. At this moment, Yuan Gangming, Ho Fong, and some other Divine Pill Masters who were more accomplished in the Divine Pill Dao had similar thoughts. Even if it were them, if they could extract so much life force to refine the ultimate Meridian Restoration Divine Pill, they were very confident that they could refine the ultimate Meridian Restoration Divine Pill. High up in the sky, above the clouds, an old figure stood there. At the same time, he sighed. There's no knack for it. It seems like he's the kind of person who was born sensitive to the life force in the heaven and earth spiritual qi. This kind of person is a natural divine pill master. As long as his alchemy skills are good enough, let alone the ultimate king-grade divine pill, he might even be able to refine the ultimate emperor-grade divine pill. In the next moment, the old man's figure swayed and disappeared without a trace. Even if Duan Lingtian wanted to refine the other two ultimate Meridian Restoration Divine Pills in front of everyone, he seemed to have lost interest in watching. At the same time, Duan Lingtian happened to start taking out the pills and successfully refine the Meridian Restoration Divine Pill in front of everyone. Moreover, as soon as the Meridian Restoration Divine Pill was in his hand, the tribulation cloud arrived at the horizon. Meridian Recovery Pill. In front of the crowd of inner sect disciples, he completed the tribulation and successfully turned it into an ultimate Meridian Recovery Pill. It's really infuriating to compare oneself to others. So, the Supreme King Grade Divine Pill was refined just like that? Yuan Gangming had a bitter smile on his face. Chapter 38-35. The layman watched the show, while the expert watched the skill. For those who weren't divine pill masters, or those who had just entered the sect, they couldn't see the profoundness of Duan Lingtian's pill refining process. They only felt that since Duan Lingtian could refine the ultimate limit meridian restoring divine pill, it meant that Duan Lingtian's pill refining skills were profound. At the same time, he should have grasped some tricks. However, in the eyes of those who were in the know, Duan Lingtian's pill refining skills were only average and couldn't be considered profound. The reason why Duan Lingtian could refine the ultimate limit meridian restoring divine pill so easily was because he could sense a large amount of life force in the spiritual chi of heaven and earth and extract it all. That's right, it was all. At the very least, it was in the eyes of divine pill masters like Yuan Gangming and Ho Fong. If that wasn't all, then wouldn't the amount of life force that Duan Lingtian could sense in the spiritual chi of heaven and earth be more than what they could see? It's difficult to sense the life force, and extracting it is even more difficult. For divine pill masters, this has always been a difficult problem to solve. It's also because of this that a brilliant divine pill master is extremely rare and valuable. Ho Fong smiled bitterly and said, however, in the hands of this divine pill master, sensing the life force in the spiritual chi of heaven and earth seems to have become very simple. Extracting the life force seems to be a piece of cake. At this moment, some of the divine pill masters nearby felt the same when they heard Ho Fong's words. Amazing! Ding Yin also heard the conversation of the divine pill masters nearby. After learning about Duan Lingtian's attainments in sensing the life force in the spiritual chi of heaven and earth, he couldn't help but exclaim. As for Sikongyu, who was not far away, the contempt in her eyes when she looked at Duan Lingtian was replaced by disbelief. This Duan Lingtian was not only younger than her, but he was even younger than Ding Yin. However, not only did he surpass her in terms of strength, but he also had heaven-defying achievements in the divine pill Dao at his age. Compared to him, Sikongyu only felt that she was so ordinary that she felt ashamed of her inferiority. This was the first time in Sikongyu's life that she had such a thought. One had to know that although there were many young geniuses in the Tunglong province, those who were more outstanding than her, Sikongyu, were either from noble backgrounds, disciples of peak god emperor level forces in the Tunglong province, or were older than her. Sikongyu felt that if she were to reach their age, she wouldn't be any weaker than them. But now, Duan Lingtian, who had no background and was younger than her, had appeared in front of her, which made her doubt her life. At this moment, even though Ding Yin had subconsciously glanced at her with ridicule in his eyes, Sikongyu wasn't in the mood to fuss over it with Ding Yin. Sikongyu took a deep breath and glanced once more at the violet-colored figure in the distance, and then he turned around and left. From the beginning until the end, he didn't say a single word. This surprised Ding Yin a little. Had this woman changed? He was already prepared to bicker with the other party, but the other party ran away. Meanwhile, under the watchful eyes of the others, Duan Lingtian began to refine the Meridian Restoration Divine Pill for the second time. This time, the process was exactly the same as the previous time. I still find it unbelievable. I'd like to see if the amount of life energy he extracted from the heaven and earth spirit energy this time is comparable to the previous time. Ho Fong's eyes shone brightly. Perhaps he was just lucky the previous time. Perhaps he won't be so lucky every time. In fact, many people, including Yuan Gangming, had the same thought as Ho Fong. However, compared to other people's anticipation, Yuan Gangming had a feeling this young man, who came from a Devata realm like him, was still as heaven-defying as before. As time passed, Yuan Gangming realized he had guessed correctly. The amount of life energy Duan Lingtian extracted from the heaven and earth spirit energy when he refined the Meridian Restoration Divine Pill for the second time was even greater than the previous time. What happened next was only logical. Another Supreme Meridian Restoration Divine Pill appeared. 2 pills now. Duan Lingtian actually has such a high success rate when refining the Supreme Meridian Restoration Divine Pill? 2 refinements, 2 successes. The success rate of these 2 refinements is 100%. Let's see if he can refine the Supreme Meridian Restoration Divine Pill for the 3rd time. If he can still refine the Supreme Meridian Restoration Divine Pill in one go, his achievement in the Divine Pill Tao will be really shocking. Currently, Duan Lingtian had successfully refined the Supreme Meridian Restoration Divine Pill for the second time. Even the non-divine alchemists present on the scene were shocked by Duan Lingtian's shocking success rate. This was not an ordinary king-grade divine pill. Moreover, it was not an ordinary Supreme King-grade divine pill. Among all the king-grade divine pellets, this was one of the hardest to refine into an ultimate-level divine pellet. Only Yuan Gangming, Ho Fong, and other insiders knew that with Duan Lingtian's level of alchemy, coupled with his heaven-defying ability to sense and extract life energy, refining the Supreme Meridian Restoration Divine Pill was as easy as eating and drinking for him. Following that, under the gaze of everyone, Duan Lingtian refined the Supreme Meridian Restoration Divine Pill again. This time, the group of outsiders was naturally even more shocked. He's actually so powerful? The third miss of the Morong family, Morong Inue, was also present. When she saw Duan Lingtian successfully refining the Supreme Meridian Restoration Divine Pill for the third time, she couldn't help but be shocked. At this moment, she even felt that if she were to be with Ho Qingning, she might not have an advantage in terms of identity. After all, although Ho Qingning's identity and background were not as good as hers, Ho Qingning's friend was someone that the entire Morong family would have to look up to in the near future. In the future, if she were to be with Ho Qingning, others might only say that she was trying to climb the social ladder. Okay, it's over. Under the gaze of everyone, Duan Lingtian put away the Supreme Meridian Restoration Divine Pill that he had successfully refined. He, who was originally sitting cross-legged in the void, stood up at the right time and spoke in a clear voice. Alchemy Master Duan, your alchemy water. Your alchemy skills are really amazing, Ho Fong exclaimed. He originally wanted to say that Duan Lingtian's alchemy skills were profound, but when he realized that it would be against his will, he changed his words at the right time. As soon as Ho Fong finished speaking, before Duan Lingtian could speak, Yuan Gangming sneered and said, "What? Old geezer Ho, are you unwilling to admit that Alchemy Master Duan's alchemy skills are superb? Don't forget that the most difficult thing for a divine pill master is to sense and extract the life force in the heaven and earth spirit chi. If this isn't enough to be considered as an alchemy skill, then what is? Is it those skills that can be accumulated over time?" As soon as Yuan Gangming spoke, even though Ho Fong and Yuan Gangming did not see eye to eye, he was speechless at this moment. After a while, Ho Fong seemed to have recalled something. He looked at Duan Lingtian and cupped his hands slightly as he said, "Alchemy Master Duan, what I said earlier was definitely not what he said. Alchemy Master Duan's alchemy skills are superb, and I'm inferior to you. I hope Alchemy Master Duan can give me some pointers when you're free in the future." As soon as Ho Fong finished speaking, he took out his soul orb. "Alchemy Master Duan, how about we exchange soul orbs? If you need my help in the future, feel free to ask. You're from the Linghu family. Speaking of which, there's one person in the Linghu family who's a disciple of my junior brother. We can be considered as a family," Ho Fong said with a smile. As soon as Duan Lingtian took out his soul orb, Yuan Gangming could not help but laugh as he looked at Ho Fong. "Old geezer Ho, you're really thick-skinned. How can you be considered as a family with Alchemy Master Duan? Don't forget that Alchemy Master Duan is only a revered elder of the Linghu family." Ho Fong did not hold back when he heard Yuan Gangming's words. "At least he's better than you. Apart from being from a Devata realm like Alchemy Master Duan, you're not related to him at all, right?" Duan Lingtian shook his head and left silently when he saw the two of them quarreling again. After Duan Lingtian left, Yuan Gangming and Ho Fong finally regained their senses and began to blame each other again. "It's all because of you that I couldn't exchange soul orbs with Alchemy Master Duan. Do you think you're the only one who couldn't exchange soul orbs with Alchemy Master Duan?" At this moment, the two of them did not seem like two black dragon elders. Instead, they seemed more like two scoundrels or two shrews who were quarreling on the street. Among the people present, the person with the highest status in the Tianlong clan was the White Dragon Elder. The quarrel between the two Black Dragon Elders was no different from a fight between celestial immortals in front of a mortal like him. How could he dare to stop them? On the other hand, The group of inner sect disciples present on the scene had their eyes opened. It turned out that even someone as high as the Black Dragon Elder was just like them. He was a normal person and had his own emotions. He also had his own enemies. I didn't expect to obtain a rare medicinal herb worth 300,000 contribution points just like that. After returning to his room, Duanling Tian finally had some peace and quiet. He was delighted when he thought about how he had only spent a few hours to refine the Limit Meridian's Recovery Divine Pill 3 times in front of everyone and obtained the rare medicinal materials that were worth 300,000 contribution points. In the following month, he continued to refine Limit Meridian Restoring Divine Pills because he still needed to refine many Limit Meridian Restoring Divine Pills to exchange for contribution points and various medicinal herbs. Of course, while refining these Limit Meridian Restoring Divine Pills, Duanling Tian did not forget to refine other divine pills. Among them, there were several Limit Emperor Grade Divine Pills. Of course, the pill tribulation for Limit Emperor Grade Divine Pills was different. However, before refining the Limit Emperor Grade Divine Pills, the news of Duanling Tian refining 2 Limit Meridian Restoring Divine Pills at the same time using 2 pill cauldrons spread like wildfire throughout the Tianlong clan. Therefore, when the pill tribulation for the Limit Emperor Grade Divine Pills that Duanling Tian refined arrived, the Tianlong clan members only thought that it was 2 Limit Meridian Restoring Divine Pills that were refined at the same time. Of course, the fact that Duanling Tian refined 2 Limit Meridian Restoring Divine Pills at the same time and successfully refined them also shocked Yuan Gangming, Ho Fong, and the other Tianlong clan Divine Pill Masters. With Yuan Gangming and Ho Fong's efforts, they also successfully exchanged soul orbs with Duanling Tian. However, after the exchange of soul orbs, they discovered that imagination was beautiful, but reality was cruel. They originally thought that they could ask Duanling Tian to help them refine other Limit Emperor Grade Divine Pills. But before they could speak, Duanling Tian asked them more questions about the Divine Pill Dao. Some of the questions were so tricky that they could only send a message to the Tianlong clan's old clan master. Days passed one after another. The day of the Emperor Battle Plains opening was gradually approaching. Chapter 38-36. The Emperor Battle was about to begin. Whether it was the Tianlong clan or the Tai sect, the atmosphere was particularly solemn. Even the disciples of the 2 sects who hadn't become God Kings felt tremendous pressure. After all, the Emperor Battle wasn't something they could escape from if they didn't break through to God King. It didn't matter if you were young and had just joined a God King level sect like the Tianlong clan or the Tai sect, but if you hadn't broken through to God King after a period of time and enjoyed the sect's various resources, then sorry, you could only scram. As for those above God King level, they had to enter the Emperor Battle realm no matter who they were. After entering the Emperor Battle Plane, everyone had a mission. Only by completing the minimum mission would one be able to leave the Emperor War realm. If one exceeded the requirements, one could store the spoils and hand them over the next time they entered the Emperor War realm. This way, they wouldn't have to enter the battlefield in the Emperor War realm in the future. The mission was to defeat the other sect's people. The members of the 2 sects who entered the Monarch Battle realm would enter a city behind their respective sections. Before a formation set up by a formation disc set up by a supreme expert, they only needed to inject their divine energy into it to form an identity medallion that belonged to them. The token was compatible with one's aura and could only be carried by oneself. Once the token was exchanged with someone else, it would disperse. Only when the owner of the identity token died would the identity token solidify and become rigid. At that time, it could be held by others. In the Emperor Battle realm, this was known as a life token. Once it was lost, it meant that one's life would wither away. Inside the Tianlong Temple, as the Emperor Battle drew near, many people's hearts burned with anticipation. Once the Emperor War begins, as long as you obtain enough life tokens, you will be able to obtain the corresponding amount of Emperor War Merit Points. Emperor War Merit Points can be exchanged for items from the sects and Greater One sect in the Emperor War realm. Those items are all protected by formation discs formed by formations set up by supreme experts. Only with enough Emperor War Merit Points can they be exchanged. Of course, if you don't want to exchange merit for them, you can do so after the Emperor Battle ends. After the Emperor Battle ends, once the Emperor War starts, I'm afraid it won't end so easily. At the very least, unless a god emperor is born, it won't end so easily. Thinking about it, that's true. Once one's eyes turn red from killing, and no god emperor expert is born, no one would be satisfied. All in all, the monarch duel is a crisis, but it's also an opportunity. In my opinion, the path to becoming an expert is all about fighting. If you don't even dare to fight, how can you become strong? Everywhere in the Sky Dragon sect's encampment, the majority of the Sky Dragon sect's disciples supported the Emperor battle. To them, their talent and comprehension were limited, so they could not enjoy special treatment like the genius disciples of the Tianlong clan. And the Emperor battle was their chance. In the Emperor battle, they could obtain battle merits by killing greater one sect disciples and exchange them for what they wanted. When the Emperor battle began, whether it was the Tianlong clan or the Greater One sect, they would take out all kinds of treasures from their storehouses. This was because a few peak god emperor level forces in Tunglong province would participate in the supervision. They would know if anyone did not put in their best effort to take out something. On the other hand, the start of the Emperor battle symbolized the struggle between the two major sections. At this time, the two major sects participating in the Emperor battle would not be stingy. If, at the beginning, the Greater One sect's encampment was still a little panicked. As time passed and the Emperor battle was about to begin, the panic in the Greater One sect gradually dissipated without a trace. It was replaced by resignation, hard work, and progress. To be able to cultivate to their current cultivation realm, no one was a fool. Since the Emperor battle was irreversible, what they had to do was to improve their strength as much as possible before the Emperor battle, so that they could have more life-saving capital in the Emperor battle. In addition, thinking that the Emperor battle was also an opportunity for them, they were even more excited. Tianlong Temple, today, once again welcomed a group of uninvited guests. The reason why it was once again was because there had been two other groups of uninvited guests recently, and they were all from the peak god emperor level forces in Tunglong province. The first two groups of uninvited guests had just arrived. After paying a visit to the Tianlong clan's clanmaster, they were directly led by the Tianlong clan's clanmaster to see the recently popular Duan Lingtian of the Tianlong clan. Their purpose of coming was to invite Duan Lingtian to join the forces behind them, and to do so, they promised many benefits. In the past, the sects and families behind them knew that Duan Lingtian was extremely talented and had strong comprehension and wanted to recruit him. However, as the Emperor battle between the Tianlong clan and the Greater One sect was about to begin, they thought that after the Emperor battle, if Duan Lingtian was still alive, they would recruit Duan Lingtian. Later, Duan Lingtian refined multiple ultimate limit meridian recovery divine pills in front of everyone at the Tianlong clan, and even opened two pill cauldrons in front of everyone, simultaneously refining two ultimate limit meridian recovery divine pills at the same time, causing two pill tribulations to descend at the same time. While the Tianlong clan was shaken, the news also spread to the peak god emperor level forces in Tunglong province. Suddenly, they couldn't sit still anymore. They all sent people over. However, some people came early, while others came late. Yang Qinya greets all the martial granduncles, martial granduncles, martial uncles, and martial uncles. The uninvited guest of the Tianlong clan this time was Yang Qinya, the former number one of the younger generation of the God Emperor level sect, the Myriad Demon sect. He was someone who was above Du Pajuan. Yang Qinya didn't come alone. There were a few people following him, and each of them was far stronger than him. They had been sent by the God Emperor level force behind him to follow him to the Tianlong clan. The current Yang Qinya was more introverted than before. His eyes were deep and profound. He stood there with a transcendent aura that made people feel ashamed of their own inferiority. At least, that was how Du Qianjun, who was standing at the side, felt. It feels like Brother Qinya has changed after going to that God Emperor level force. At this moment, Du Pajuan was also standing beside Du Qianjun, looking at Yang Qinya with a complicated expression. He was sincerely convinced by this existence who had suppressed him in the Myriad Demon sect, but now that he couldn't see through him even more after going to that God Emperor level force, he knew that he had most likely been left behind in terms of strength. Haha, Qinya, when did you break through to the God Emperor level? The two people who were doing the best in the Tianlong clan were the two White Dragon Elders. At this moment, the two of them were sitting in two of the three main seats. One of them even asked young Qinya with a smile, "Martial granduncles, I just broke through recently." Young Qinya replied respectfully, a rare faint smile on his face. He was rejoicing over his choice in the past. If he had gone to the Tianlong clan, he might not have been able to break through to the God Emperor level in such a short time. "Brother Qinya, you're already a God Emperor?" Du Qianjun, who had been standing at the side, couldn't help but cry out in surprise. "Qianjun." At this time, the other old man frowned and scolded, "Your martial granduncles are talking to your brother Qinya. Don't interrupt." This old man was none other than Kuang Tianjing. Normally speaking, with Kuang Tianjing's status in the Tianlong clan, he wasn't qualified to sit in the main seat when the myriad demon sect was gathered. He could only sit below the main seat. However, he had a disciple who was capable enough to marry the only daughter of the Tianlong clan's vice-patriarch, Shui Mingji. At this moment, Kuang Tianjing's second disciple, Zhong Can, was standing behind Kuang Tianjing, looking at young Qinya with a complicated expression. Zhong Can had heard of young Qinya more than once. After young Qinya had been invited to that peak God Emperor level force, he had begun to value young Qinya because he was about the same age as him. Of course, at that time, he felt that he wouldn't lose to young Qinya. But today, after learning that young Qinya had broken through to become a God Emperor, he knew that there was a big gap between them. "It doesn't matter." The old man on the main seat shook his head and waved his hand. "Qianjun and Qinya have always had a good relationship, this I know. Tianjing, don't be angry." "Yes, senior brother." Kuang Tianjing hurriedly responded. At this time, Elder Bai Long of the Myriad Demon Sect, who was sitting on the other main seat, was a middle-aged man wearing a light blue robe. He had a tall and sturdy build and a particularly conspicuous aquiline nose. He looked at young Qinya and said, "Martial nephew Qinya, what are the cultivations of the people who followed you here?" "Martial uncle Lu Yin. I have to call them martial uncles and martial uncles. They are all high God emperors, and their duty this time is to escort me here and cooperate with me to invite Duan Lingtian to join the sect behind Qinya." Young Qinya said with a faint smile. The aquiline-nosed, middle-aged man's eyes lit up when he heard young Qinya's words. They were all high God emperors? Du Pajuan, Du Qianjun, and their martial granduncle, Kuang Tianjing, who had the best relationship with their grandfather, Du Zhan, all changed their expressions at this time. Even Du Zhan, who was standing behind Kuang Tianjing, had a slight change in his expression. Although they had guessed that young Qinya would bring a few experts with him, when they heard it from young Qinya's mouth, they still had a different feeling. Since that little bastard rejected the two God Emperors, I don't think he'll agree to Qinya's request. When they thought of this, Kuang Tianjing, Zhong Can, Du Pajuan, and Du Qianjun all sighed in relief. In their eyes, Duan Lingtian had to die. If he didn't, they might be the ones to die in the future. Even though Zhong Can had no enmity with the Duan Lingtian in the past, he had instigated his wife to send his father-in-law to deal with the Duan Lingtian. That had put him on the opposite side of the Duan Lingtian. Because of his guilty conscience, he also felt that if the Duan Lingtian were to grow stronger, he wouldn't have an easy time. Martial nephew Qinya. The aquiline-nosed, middle-aged man's eyes suddenly focused. He said to young Qinya in a deep voice, "Can you ask those people to kill the Tianlong clan's White Dragon Elder Shui Haichuan?" Chapter 38-37. As the aquiline-nosed man's voice fell, the scene fell into a deathly silence. After a moment, young Qinya opened his mouth. He bitterly smiled and said, "Hi, Master Lu Yin. I also heard that Shui Haishan was released from the Hidden Fog sect's Stairway Heaven prison. I know you're eager to take revenge, but those elders only followed me here because they were ordered to invite Duan Lingtian. If you want them to kill another person, they might not refuse to give me face. But Shui Haichuan, in truth, before we came here, the sect had already done something for Duan Lingtian. Those elders also know that Duan Lingtian has a good relationship with Shui Haichuan. There was even an elder who said that he could use Shui Haichuan to persuade Duan Lingtian. In this situation, wanting them to kill Shui Haichuan is unrealistic." Yang Qinya shook his head as he spoke. As for the aquiline-nosed man, he was Lu Yin. He was one of the 2 white dragon elders of the 10,000 demon sect in the Tianlong clan. At this time, his complexion was gloomy. Lu Yin was once the Hidden Fog sect's sect master. In the past, his only son was killed by Xue Haichuan's big brother, Xue Haishan. He wanted to kill Xue Haichuan to avenge his son, but in the end, the high-level figures of the Hidden Fog sect had Xue Haichuan imprisoned in the Stairway Heaven prison for 10,000 years. He wasn't willing to accept this result. In a fit of anger, he left the Hidden Fog sect and joined the Hidden Fog sect's mortal enemy, the 10,000 demon sect. As soon as he arrived at the 10,000 demon sect, he became a highest elder. Later, through the 10,000 demon sect, he entered the Tianlong clan. In the Tianlong clan, he broke through and became a middle divine emperor. First, he became an inner sect elder of the Tianlong clan. Then, as his strength increased, he became a white dragon elder of the Tianlong clan. He had always viewed Xue Haichuan as a fellow white dragon elder with hostility. This former junior actually had the same status as him in the Tianlong clan. In fact, in terms of strength, he wasn't confident he could defeat Xue Haichuan. After all, there was no direct enmity between him and Xue Haichuan. Therefore, although he didn't like Xue Haichuan in the Tianlong clan, he didn't have any major conflicts with Xue Haichuan. It was only when Xue Haishan had been released from the Stairway prison for 10,000 years that he really wanted to kill Xue Haichuan. This was because Xue Haichuan had always been inseparable from his elder brother, Xue Haishan. If he wanted to kill Xue Haishan and avenge his son, he would have to kill Xue Haichuan first. Otherwise, he wouldn't have succeeded in his revenge. Ever since Xue Haishan had followed Xue Haichuan to the Tianlong clan, he had looked for opportunities many times, but found that there was no chance at all. Xue Haichuan had been guarding Xue Haishan to the death. No matter what he did, he would bring Xue Haishan along. The tactic of luring the tiger away from the mountain had been used many times, but it had always failed. Right now, he was only asking for Yang Qinya's help because he was anxious. What if Duan Lingtian refuses? After hearing Yang Qinya's words, Lu Yin clearly didn't plan to give up. That Duan Lingtian has already rejected 2 of the top emperor god forces in Tunglong province. If there are no accidents, he will also reject you. If he refuses, does that mean that you, junior nephew Qinya, only need to say the word, and those elders will kill Xue Haichuan? Lu Yin's eyes burned with passion once again. I'm afraid that's impossible. Yang Qinya shook his head again. Actually, before we came out this time, we were specifically warned. Even if we can't recruit Duan Lingtian, we can't become enemies with him. The war between the emperors is coming, so it's normal that Duan Lingtian is unwilling to leave the Tianlong clan. The sect plans to recruit Duan Lingtian after the war between the Tianlong clan and the Tai sect is over. If we can't recruit Duan Lingtian this time, Yang Qinya's words completely extinguished Lu Yin's hopes. At this time, another white dragon elder from the 1,000 Demon sect spoke. Lu Yin, I know you want to avenge your son. Only by killing Xue Haichuan can you kill Xue Haishan. However, don't you think you've entered a dead end? Xue Haichuan will definitely enter the emperor battlefield when the war between the emperors starts. What about Xue Haishan? Even if he brings Xue Haishan in, can he bring Xue Haishan into the battlefield of the divine emperors? The battlefield of the divine emperors isn't just restricted to high-ranked divine emperors who entered the battlefield of the divine emperors. Even those who haven't reached the divine emperor realm can't enter the battlefield of the divine emperors. At that time, you won't have a chance to kill Xue Haishan. Lu Yin's eyes lit up as the white dragon elder finished speaking. I didn't think of this. It seems that I'm too close to the situation. Yes, the war between the emperors will be the best opportunity for me to kill Xue Haishan. Lu Yin's eyes shone brightly. On the other side, Huang Tianjing said in a low voice, when the war between the emperors starts, is it possible to kill Duan Lingtian in the battlefield of the divine kings? Hearing Huang Tianjing's words, everyone fell silent. Duan Lingtian's strength was obvious to all. Even if the emperor battlefield opened, Duan Lingtian would be like a fish in water in the battlefield of the divine kings. Most likely, there wouldn't be anyone below the divine emperor realm in the Tai sect who could be his match. Even if they joined forces to deal with Duan Lingtian, with Duan Lingtian's strength, it wasn't impossible for him to escape alive. It was impossible to kill Duan Lingtian in the Emperor battlefield, unless someone above the Divine Emperor realm made a move. Almost impossible. Huang Tianjing's words made Lu Yin shake his head repeatedly. Duan Lingtian isn't an ordinary divine king. In the Tianlong clan, no one below the Divine Emperor realm would dare to say that they have the ability to defeat him. Even if multiple divine kings besieged him, with his strength and his proficiency in the law of space, it wouldn't be difficult for him to escape. As for the Tai sect, I haven't heard of anyone below the Divine Emperor realm stronger than him. Even if the battlefield of the Divine Kings and the Emperor battlefield is dangerous to him, it won't be life-threatening. Lu Yin saw through it all. Of course, this was also because he didn't have any enmity with Duan Lingtian. However, to Lu Yin, having no enmity with Duan Lingtian was a thing of the past. Now that he knew that the High Divine Emperors following Yang Qinya wouldn't attack Shui Haichuan because of Duan Lingtian, he hated Duan Lingtian and wanted nothing more than to kill Duan Lingtian immediately. If Duan Lingtian died, the High Divine Emperors following Yang Qinya would no longer have any qualms about attacking Shui Haichuan. Indeed, it's unlikely. Another White Dragon Elder nodded. If we want to touch Duan Lingtian, we'll have to do it outside the Emperor battlefield. The Emperor battlefield is either a safe zone for sects or a battlefield with distinct boundaries. Those above the Divine Emperor realm can't enter the battlefield of the Divine Kings, and he can't go to the battlefield of the Divine Emperors. Of course, even if he wanted to go to the battlefield of the Divine Emperors, he can't because his cultivation isn't strong enough. Currently, Duan Lingtian didn't know that everyone in the Thousand Devil sect, including Yang Qinya, wanted to kill him. It was all because of the enmity between him and Huang Tianjing. Huang Tianjing had attacked him in the Linghu family's residence. If the Linghu family hadn't activated the protective grand formation, Duan Lingtian might have died at Huang Tianjing's hands. The people from the Thousand Devil sect knew very well that after that incident, the Thousand Devil sect and Duan Lingtian had become enemies. It was almost impossible for them to reconcile, unless they killed Huang Tianjing or the people from Huang Tianjing's faction and apologized to Duan Lingtian. However, that wasn't realistic. Huang Tianjing was still fine. However, Huang Tianjing's second disciple, Zhong Can, was now the son-in-law of the Tianlong clan's vice-patriarch, Shui Mingji. If they killed Zhong Can and the matter was exposed, it would be a huge blow to the Thousand Devil sect. The Thousand Devil sect couldn't take such a risk. Half a month later, I've finally stabilized my current cultivation. In the inner sect disciples training area, Duan Lingtian was in his room. On his bed, Duan Lingtian opened his eyes, a satisfied smile on his face. Not long ago, Duan Lingtian had successfully broken through to the High Divine King stage with the help of a large number of King and Emperor-level divine pills. However, the cultivation base that was built up through the use of pills was ultimately not very stable. Therefore, he spent a long time stabilizing his cultivation. Only today did he manage to completely stabilize his cultivation. Taking a deep breath, Duan Lingtian got off his bed and removed the formation that enveloped his room. With the formation, no one could send a message in from the outside. Almost a moment after Duan Lingtian removed the formation, a message came. It was from Shui Haichuan. Little Tian, Yang Qinya brought people to the sect half a month ago. They want to invite you to the top emperor-level sect behind them in Tunglong province. On Duan Lingtian's side, Shui Haichuan had also set up a small formation. The function of the small formation was to notify Duan Lingtian that Duan Lingtian had come out of seclusion when Duan Lingtian removed the formation. As for the matter of Yang Qinya and the others looking for Duan Lingtian, it was arranged for Shui Haichuan by the Tianlong clan's patriarch because everyone knew that Shui Haichuan was close to Duan Lingtian. Yang Qinya? Under Shui Haichuan's arrangement, Duan Lingtian met Yang Qinya. This was a figure that he had heard of when he was still in the Hidden Fog sect. He was the number one person of the Myriad Demon sect's younger generation. He was one of the most outstanding geniuses in the history of the Myriad Demon sect. Alchemist Duan. When Yang Qinya saw Duan Lingtian, a rare smile bloomed on his originally cold face. I'm sure you know why I'm here. Alchemist Duan, are you interested in joining the sect behind me? Yang Qinya asked politely. There were several people standing to the side. There were middle-aged men and old men. They were all looking at Duan Lingtian. These people were the several high-level god emperors who came with Yang Qinya. Their purpose was the same as Yang Qinya's. They wanted to recruit Duan Lingtian. The reason why these high-level god emperors came together was because the sects behind them wanted to express their sincerity in front of Duan Lingtian. I'm afraid young sect Master Yang has come in vain. Duan Lingtian faintly smiled. But as soon as Duan Lingtian spoke, Yang Qinya's complexion changed. Duan Lingtian, you can't call me that. Aren't you the son of the myriad demon sect's patriarch? Duan Lingtian looked deeply at the startled Yang Qinya. It wasn't hard to guess that Yang Qinya had misunderstood. Chapter 38:38. Yang Qinya heaved a sigh of relief when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. In the Thousand Devil sect, he was the one and only heaven's pride. However, in the East Ridge Prefecture, which was a peak Emperor God level sect, he was only slightly more outstanding. There were many young heaven's prides who could be compared to him. Among them, there were even heaven's prides whose talent and comprehension were above his. He had only been invited because he had crossed the threshold for the top god Emperor-level forces in Tunglong Province to take the initiative to invite him to join. If he hadn't crossed that threshold and his talent and perceptive ability were slightly weaker, those god Emperor-level forces wouldn't have taken the initiative to invite him. When he heard Duan Lingtian call him young sect master, he broke out in a cold sweat. At that moment, he felt as if there was a thorn in his back. It wasn't difficult for him to sense the sharp gazes of the high-level god emperors not far away. These high-ranked divine emperors were not his subordinates. They did not follow him here to protect him. They were here to support him. When they invited Duan Lingtian to join them, they were here to show respect to Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian. When Duan Lingtian rejected Yang Qinya, the high-level god emperors also spoke one after another, promising all kinds of benefits. It was even to the extent that there were one or two people who promised benefits that caused Duan Lingtian to be greatly moved. If it weren't for the imminent emperor battle, he might have really agreed to go to the emperor battle realm. In the end, Duan Lingtian still refused. Although the high-level god emperors were disappointed by Duan Lingtian's rejection, they weren't angry because before they came, they already knew that Duan Lingtian had rejected the other two god emperor-level forces. Duan Lingtian, if the emperor battle between the Tianlong clan and the Tai sect ends, if you're interested in joining the sect behind us, feel free to look for me. An old man raised his hand and handed his soul bead to Duan Lingtian. When the time comes, send me a message and I'll personally come to welcome you. My promise is still valid at that time. This old man was also one of the two people who had made the most important promise. Thank you, Senior. Duan Lingtian repeatedly thanked him and put away the soul bead the old man handed over. After the emperor battle ends, I do plan to leave the Tianlong clan. If I really want to leave, I'll definitely choose a top god emperor-level force in Tunglong Province to join. The old man's eyes immediately after hearing Duan Lingtian's words. He pondered for a moment and made another promise to Duan Lingtian. Yang's face changed this series of promises, Duan Lingtian's Yang. He, Yang Qinya, was one of the most talented people in the history of the God Emperor level sect, the Thousand Devil sect. Back then, when he received invitations from several peak God Emperor level forces in the Eastern Mountain Prefecture, they didn't promise him anything. They just invited him to join. However, when it came to Duan Lingtian, there was a huge amount of benefits that made him green with envy. Elder Qin. The old man's promise also caused the others to frown slightly. The benefits that the old man promised were truly a bit excessive compared to what they had promised before. It made them feel ashamed of their inferiority. Are we people from the same sect? However, when they thought about the old man's status in the sect, they could not help but sigh. Who asked him to have an extraordinary background in the sect? The sect might not be willing to fulfill the heavy promises he made to Duan Lingtian. But the sect would definitely fulfill the promise he made to Duan Lingtian, even if it pained them. Senior, how should I address you? When Duan Lingtian looked at the old man again, his gaze became much gentler. At the same time, he casually raised his hand and took out his soul bead and handed it to the old man. My name is Qin Wuyang. You can call me Elder Qin. Most of the people in the sect call me that as well. The old man could see that Duan Lingtian was tempted. He put away Duan Lingtian's soul bead with a bright smile on his face. The old man and the young man looked at each other with smiles on their faces. It was as though they were having a casual conversation. Moreover, the peak that I'm at is the best in the Divine Pill Tao. If you want to come, you can go to my peak directly. There are all kinds of rare medicinal herbs there. There's nothing you can't see. Qin Wuyang continued to tempt Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian's eyes lit up. Yang Qinya's expression changed slightly when he saw this. A hint of worry flashed in the depths of his eyes. At the same time, he immediately sent a message. The target of the message was none other than the inner sect elder of the Tianlong clan, Huang Tianzheng. Senior granduncle, one of the sect elders who came with me, made a promise to Duan Lingtian. It seems like Duan Lingtian will leave the Tianlong clan after the Emperor battle ends and join my current sect. It's best if you kill him before the Emperor battle ends. Otherwise, not only will you not be able to kill him when he arrives at my current sect, you might even have to consider if he'll seek revenge on you in the future. You should know that with his innate talent and comprehension, and his shocking achievement in the Divine Pill Tao, it won't be long before he has the ability to seek revenge on you. Perhaps, after he leaves the Tianlong clan, he'll be able to seek revenge on you with the help of others. Upon receiving Yang Qinya's message, Huang Tianjing's expression changed again. At the same time, he immediately sent a message to his second disciple, Zhongcan, where are you now? Is it convenient for Master to look for you? Now, Huang Tianzheng only wanted to look for Zhongcan so that they could think of a way to deal with Duan Lingtian together. Or rather, he wanted to think of a way to let Xue Mingji, the vice-clan leader of the Tianlong clan, deal with Duan Lingtian. He had to admit that Qin Wuyang was very sincere. At the very least, Duan Lingtian was really tempted. He also felt that even if the two people from the top Emperor God forces in Tunglung province had not arrived, the benefits that Qin Wuyang promised could not be replicated. Moreover, the Emperor God forces that had yet to arrive were all Emperor God clans. Compared to the sects, he was more inclined towards sects than clans. Let's talk about this after the Emperor War ends. I don't know how long it'll take for it to end. The Emperor War might end in a few years, decades, or even centuries. In the history of the realms of gods, the longest Emperor War in the history of the realms of gods lasted for 1,000 years. In the end, it was the few peak Emperor God level forces that were hosting the Emperor War that intervened and ended it. After that, there was a new rule for the Emperor War in the realms of gods. The Emperor War cannot last for more than 1,000 years. When the time limit is up, the Emperor War realm will be closed. Duan Lingtian knew a lot about the Emperor War. Duan Lingtian, I'll wait for you at Chunying School. Before Qin Wuyang, Yang Qinya, and the others left, Qin Wuyang left a message through Duan Lingtian's soul pearl. Chunying School. This was also the first time Duan Lingtian learned about the top Emperor God force in Tunglung province that Qin Wuyang and Yang Qinya were from. Pure Yang? Is this Chunying School related to Lu Dongbin, one of the 8 immortals in Earth's myths and legends? That Lu Dongbin seems to be known as Master Pure Sunday. Duan Lingtian shook his head when he thought about this. He did not think it was possible. Lu Dongbin should have ascended to the Jade Emperor Heaven. However, Duan Lingtian had never heard of him when he was in the Devata realm. If Lu Dongbin had really ascended to the realms of gods and established a sect there, he would have become a legend in the Jade Emperor Heaven or Yanhuang realm. Naturally, this was not impossible. Perhaps, Lu Dongbin had kept a low profile. Even if he had made a name for himself, it would not have spread. Moreover, there were close to 20 realms of gods in total. Those who had left the Yin Huang realm and the Jade Emperor Heaven to go to the realms of gods might not have made it to the profound gangland. Under such circumstances, even if Chunyang School was related to Lu Dongbin, as long as Lu Dongbin did not spread the news, it was not surprising that the people from the Jade Emperor Heaven and Yin Huang realm did not know about it. I should continue cultivating. Now that I've stabilized my cultivation base as a high-level God King, it's time for me to continue cultivating. Anyway, I don't have a high-level Divine King to break through the bottleneck of the Divine Emperor realm. I can use enough Divine Pellets to force my cultivation up. I'll just have to spend some time stabilizing my cultivation base after I break through to the Divine Emperor stage. Moreover, there are divine pills that can help a lesser divine emperor consolidate his cultivation base. With this thought in mind, Duan Lingtian cast aside all distracting thoughts and returned to his room to continue cultivating. Before he started cultivating, Duan Lingtian had informed Shui Haichuan that if anyone from the top emperor god forces in Tunglung province came looking for him, he could just politely decline. He would only come out when the War of the Emperors was about to begin. Without waiting for Shui Haichuan's reply, Duan Lingtian activated a formation that isolated him from the outside world. He's not going to meet anyone from the top emperor god forces in Tunglung province? Shui Haichuan shook his head and sighed. If he were in Duan Lingtian's shoes, he would not have the confidence to do so. However, he also knew that with the value that Duan Lingtian had shown so far, he was qualified and confident to do so. Moreover, the people from the top emperor god forces in Tunglung province would only grumble a little. They would definitely not fall out with him because of this. Based on Duan Lingtian's achievements at such a young age, as long as there were no accidents and he did not die prematurely, he would definitely rise to power. Even if they couldn't recruit such a person into their faction, there was no need to make an enemy out of someone who was an enemy of their faction. Time flew. In the blink of an eye, another 3 years had passed. The day of the War of the Emperors was approaching. The War of the Emperors had been successfully established. The higher-ups of the Tianlong clan and Tai sect had already brought many people into the War of the Emperors a year ago to build the Tianlong clan's camp in the War of the Emperors. It was a vast city. This would be the resting place of the Tianlong clan in the War of the Emperors. There were battlefields everywhere in the War of the Emperors. This was the only place that could guarantee absolute safety. Chapter 38-39. Boom. Rumble. A series of loud noises came from a huge canyon in the Tianlong clan's Myron mountain range. The originally unstable spatial passage that could only allow a small number of people to enter the Emperor Battle Realm was completely stabilized. At this moment, an open door was suspended in the air in the canyon. Behind the door was darkness, and no one knew where it led to. At that very moment, many brand new buildings had been set up all around the canyon. There were people in every single one of those buildings. These people were from the Tianlong clan. They took turns guarding the entrance and exit of the Tianlong clan. They were at least inner elders of the Tianlong clan. There were also many white dragon elders. Every time they were on duty, there would be a black dragon elder. Whoosh! In the sky above the mountain range, a tall and sturdy figure soared into the sky. In an instant, his entire body expanded and turned into a solid phantom that was like a giant that could support the heavens. It was a middle-aged man. His original body was close to 2 meters tall. Because he was so muscular, from afar, he did not look like he was 2 meters tall at all. Instead, he looked like he was about 1.7 meters tall. This was because he was not only tall, but his body was also very wide. He was twice as wide as an ordinary woman. His face was stern, and he exuded the aura of a superior. He was the current clan leader of the Tianlong clan, Long Qingchong. Long Qingchong was also the last disciple of the previous clan leader of the Tianlong clan. He was an orphan who was picked up by the previous clan leader. He originally wanted to take the previous clan leader's surname, but the previous clan leader changed his surname to Long, which was derived from the Tianlong clan. As for his full name, it was also given by the previous clan leader. Although he was a latecomer, Long Qingchong relied on his mediocre talent and hard work to get to where he was today. Although he was not as strong as his master, the previous clan leader of the Tianlong clan, he was not much weaker than him. At the very least, it was rumored that his strength was not weaker than the few golden dragon elders of the Tianlong clan. The emperor battle will officially begin in 3 days. Long Qingchong, who had transformed into a towering giant, casually slapped the air and shook the entire Tianlong temple. All disciples of the Divine King realm and above, be prepared to obey the rules set by the sect. If you charge into battle for the sect will not treat you unfairly. However, if you drag the sect down, don't blame the sect for being heartless. Long Qingchong's last sentence was laced with a strong threat. causing some of the people in the Sky Dragon Sect's encampment to have a change of expression. Is the War of the Emperors finally about to begin? I've been waiting for a long time. 3 days later? For the next 3 days, he would not cultivate. He would prepare well and use his contribution points to exchange for more healing pills. Yes, he would use up all his contribution points. If you die in there, it doesn't matter how many contribution points you have. It's better to exchange them for something that can save your life at a critical moment. What will come will come. Since we can't avoid it, let's fight. In the next 3 days, let's see if we can find a few more people to go with us. When Long Qingchong, the clan leader of the Tianlong clan, announced that the emperor battle would begin in 3 days, everyone in the Tianlong clan began to move. The originally quiet places became exceptionally lively at this moment. It was the same for the inner sect disciples' cultivation places. As Long Qingchong's voice rang through the entire Heavenly Dragon sect, it also forcefully broke through the soundproofing formation that everyone had set up for seclusion, reaching everyone's ears. There were even people in the Tianlong temple who sent messages to the elders and disciples of the Tianlong clan who were not in the Tianlong temple, telling them to come back in shifts. Of course, for the elders and disciples of the Tianlong clan who were managing the businesses of the Tianlong clan, although they must participate in the emperor battle, the requirements for their performance in the emperor battle were greatly reduced. For example, a Tianlong clan disciple with the cultivation of a lower god king must kill at least one lower god king supreme sect disciple every 3 months and seize the other party's identity token in the emperor battle plane, which was also the emperor battle badge, as proof. This was the minimum mission. As for the disciples of the Tianlong clan who were managing the businesses of the Tianlong clan, although they also had a mission, they were much more generous. Every 6 months, they only needed to kill one supreme sect disciple of the same cultivation level and seize the other party's emperor battle badge. If a lower god king did not complete the minimum mission set by the clan within the specified time limit, then when the time was up, they would be forcibly sent to the god king battlefield and could only come out after completing the mission. For example, if a lower god king disciple of the Tianlong clan who was not managing the businesses of the Tianlong clan outside failed to kill a lower god king supreme sect disciple in 3 months, they would be forcibly sent to the god king battlefield and could not come out after completing the mission. Moreover, at that time, the mission they needed to complete was not as simple as killing a lower god king supreme sect disciple, but also killing one more to complete the mission for the next 3 months. They could only come out after completing 2 3-month missions. As for middle god kings and those with higher cultivation, they also needed to complete the corresponding mission. However, middle god kings did not necessarily need to kill a middle god king. They could also kill 5 lower god kings to replace them. As for upper god kings, if they did not kill upper god kings, they would need to kill 5 middle god kings to replace them, or 25 lower god kings to replace them. In short, the higher the cultivation of the Tianlong clan's elders and disciples, the more arduous the mission they needed to complete. And this was also the unyielding rule of the Tianlong clan regarding the Emperor War that no one could violate. At most, the elders and disciples who were managing the businesses of the Tianlong clan outside enjoyed some special privileges, but they still needed to enter the Emperor War plane to fight against the people of the Supreme Sect. The minimum mission cannot be exchanged for battle merits. Only after completing the minimum mission and killing the other party's disciples can one obtain battle merits. In Tunglung Province's Peace City, where the experts of the Peak God Emperor forces are stationed, one can exchange for various cultivation resources and treasures from the sects and Supreme Sect. And as disciples of the Tianlong clan, we can also exchange battle merits for contribution points. After all, once the Emperor War ends, battle merits will be useless, but at that time, they can be exchanged for contribution points. In the inner sect's cultivation area, Duan Lingtian's courtyard, Ding Yan, Ho Qingning, and Murong Yinyue were all present. They sat together with Duan Lingtian at a table in the courtyard. Of course, at this moment, Duan Lingtian had set up a formation so that they could see what was happening outside, but those outside could not see them unless they used their divine sense to forcefully enter. But generally, no one would do that, because it was considered a provocation. What I mean is, until the end, there's no need to exchange battle merits for contribution points. Because anything that can be exchanged with contribution points can also be exchanged with battle merits, unless the value is not high. As for the things that can be exchanged with battle merits, contribution points might not be able to exchange for them. The Emperor War is presided over by the few top god emperor forces in Tunglong province. Under their supervision, the sect and Tai sect will not dare to easily hide anything. Therefore, anything that can be exchanged with battle merits in Peace City is definitely good stuff. Usually, it's hard to exchange for contribution points, but in Peace City, it's possible to exchange for battle merits. Ho Qingning's words were enough to show how deep his understanding of the Emperor War was. After entering the Emperor War realm, where do you plan to go? Do you want to go with me? Duan Lingtian asked with a smile. You should know that in the Emperor War realm, it's impossible to use soul orbs to communicate. You can only use soul orbs to communicate when you return to the 3 cities where the Emperor War is stopped. The 3 cities of the Emperor War realm referred to Sky Dragon City controlled by the Tianlong clan, Tai City controlled by Tai sect, and Peace City controlled by the few top god emperor forces in Tunglong province, including the Chunyang school. Tai City was the place where Tai sect's disciples rested. The Tianlong clan naturally could not enter, just like how Sky Dragon City did not allow Tai sect's disciples to enter. As for the Peace City, the people from both sects could enter, but they were not allowed to fight inside. Anyone who dared to do so would be killed by the few peak Emperor God-level forces in the East Ridge Prefecture who were overseeing the city. Even high-level God Emperors were no exception. In the Peace City, there would be God Emperor experts overseeing it. Furthermore, there was more than one. The few peak God Emperor level forces in the East Ridge Prefecture that were hosting the Emperor battle would each send a God Emperor to oversee the Peace City. There were 3 entrances to the Emperor War Realm: Peace City, Sky Dragon City, and Tai City. I won't be going with you. Ho Qingning shook his head and said, I'm a new disciple, so I can first go with the outer sect deacons. I won't be of any help to you if I follow you. I'll only be a burden. Ho Qingning was very clear the Emperor War Realm was not only an opportunity for them, but also for Duan Lingtian. If he followed Duan Lingtian, he would definitely be a burden to Duan Lingtian. That was not something he should do as a friend. As a friend, he hoped that Duan Lingtian would be able to reap great rewards and climb higher and further in a short time. Amen. Seeing the unswerving determination in Ho Qingning's eyes, Duan Lingtian also saw through his thoughts. He did not say anything about it and nodded. A new lower God King disciple can indeed move together with the high-level God King deacons. You'll follow the main group, and with a high-level God King, there won't be much danger. As for Murong Inue, she would naturally be together with Ho Qingning. After a few years, although the two did not seem to have broken through the last layer of veil, but Duan Lingtian could tell that the two of them were much closer than before. Ding Yin, what about you? Duan Lingtian looked at Ding Yin again. Ding Yin smiled. I don't plan to follow the outer sect deacons. I found a small group. When the time comes, we'll ambush the Divine King disciples of Tai sect on the God King battlefield. My strength is also much lower than yours. I'll be a burden to you. As he said this, Ding Yin saw Duan Lingtian frowning and said with a serious expression, Duan Lingtian, I know you won't mind us being a burden to you, but you have to consider our feelings. We're friends with you, and since we're friends, we hope for the best for each other. If you follow us, we'll be a burden, and if we follow you, it'll be very difficult for us to grow. Chapter 3840. Ding Yan's words were so serious that Duan Lingtian did not know how to respond. Of course, he could see that Ding Yan was even more determined than Ho Qingning. Hence, he did not insist that they travel with him. No matter what, if you feel pressured or in danger, feel free to let me know. I can travel with you. Duan Lingtian said to Ding Yan and Ho Qingning. Furthermore, at this point, Duan Lingtian paused and smiled. Even if you travel with me, I'm afraid we won't be able to travel more than a few times. Hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Ding Yan was stunned. Why? Ho Qingning was stunned for a moment. He looked at Duan Lingtian in shock and said, Duan Lingtian, you don't tell me you're about to break through and become a divine emperor? The moment Ho Qingning's words left his mouth, Ding Yan regained his senses. When he looked at Duanling Tian again, his eyes were filled with disbelief and shock. Murong Inue was the same. Obviously, Ho Qingning's words shocked the two of them. It's only a matter of 1 or 2 years. Duanling Tian smiled indifferently with a carefree expression on his face. After getting his confirmation, Ding Yin and the other two were dumbstruck again. After a while, they came back to their senses and looked at each other speechlessly. Wasn't this too much of a blow to them? When the three of them were lower divine kings, Duanling Tian was a middle divine king. Duanling Tian was already a middle divine king, and they were still lower divine kings. In another 1 or 2 years, they were not confident that they could advance further and break through to become middle divine kings. But Duanling Tian said that he would break through to become a lower divine emperor in 1 or 2 years. I'm going back to cultivate. Ding Yin was vexed as he turned around and left. Ho Qingning and Murong Yinue looked at each other and left one after another. Whether it was Ding Yin or Ho Qingning, after leaving, they sent a voice transmission to Duanling Tian, telling him that they didn't need to wait for them to enter the Emperor battle plane. They would arrange with their small teams before entering together. After the three of them left, Duanling Tian shook his head and smiled. Are all of them so weak? Isn't he just a lower godly emperor? Is there a need to make such a fuss? Standing up, Duanling Tian also returned to his room. Compared to the people outside, who were making all kinds of preparations, Duanling Tian appeared to be calm and unperturbed. This was because he had already prepared everything he needed to prepare. Moreover, in his opinion, with his current cultivation base, he wouldn't be in any danger if he entered the battlefield of the God Kings. At the same time, in the distant Greater One sect, the sect master of the Greater One sect personally announced that the Emperor battle would begin in 3 days. The Greater One sect was also shocked because of this. In fact, compared to the Tianlong clan, the people of the Greater One sect were even more unprepared for the upcoming Emperor battle. This was because they didn't expect that the sect would suddenly challenge the Tianlong clan to an Emperor battle. In the past, when the Tianlong clan took the initiative to challenge the sect, didn't the sect always refuse? This time, why did he take the initiative instead of being passive? However, although they were passive, the disciples of the Greater One sect weren't mediocre people. After a short period of disbelief, they gradually accepted this cruel reality. In fact, compared to the disciples of the Tianlong clan, the disciples of the Greater One sect were even more afraid of death. Those who were afraid of death would definitely be more careful and make more preparations. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. The Emperor battle plane was officially open to all disciples of the Tianlong clan and the Greater One sect. Anyone could enter at this time. Of course, whether it was the Tianlong clan or the Greater One sect, they would leave a certain number of people to guard the sect. That was something only medium-level godly emperors could do. Lower god emperors and god kings generally wouldn't make such arrangements. In the Tianlong clan, in the Grand Canyon where the entrance to the Emperor battle plane was located, people had gathered early in the morning, waiting for the Emperor battle plane to officially open to them. When noon arrived, the gate to the Emperor battle plane officially opened. A group of elders and disciples of the Tianlong clan entered the Emperor battle plane through the gate. Figures were still in the Grand Canyon a moment ago, but in the next moment, they passed through the gate in the void and disappeared into the darkness behind. It took about an hour for the black mass of people to enter before they all came to an end. At this time, people came and went in one after another. Whoosh! A purple figure flashed and appeared in the Grand Canyon. Looking at the gate in the void, his eyes suddenly flashed. These are the 4 gates to the Emperor battle plane? Just as Duanling Tian was about to enter with the others, a voice suddenly rang out. Suddenly, a voice sounded in his ears. Little Tian. Duanling Tian turned around and saw Dongfang Yannian smiling at him from not far away. Beside Dongfang Yannian was a beautiful woman with a pretty face and a graceful figure. The woman also had a white dragon elder medallion hanging from her waist. Duanling Tian, on the other hand, figured out the woman's identity. She was none other than Dongfang Yannian's wife, Ouyang Xueli, who was also a white dragon elder in the heavenly dragon sect like him. Big brother Yannian. Duanling Tian's figure flashed as he used the teleportation profundity to appear in front of Dongfang Yannian. After greeting Dongfang Yannian, He looked at the woman next to Dongfang Yannian and asked, "This must be sister-in-law, right?" Haha, Dongfang Yannian laughed. "It seems that brat Xue Haichuan has already told you. This is my wife, Ouyang Xueli. Lier, this is Duan Lingtian, Master Duan, who is more famous than me and Xue Haichuan in the Tianlong clan." Dongfang Yannian smiled. "Greetings, Master Duan." Ouyang Xueli smiled and nodded at Duan Lingtian. The reason why Xueli's heavenly veins were able to recover before the start of the Emperor battle is all thanks to the Limit Meridian Recovery Divine Pill refined by you. Thank you, Master Duan. Duan Lingtian smiled bitterly at Ouyang Xueli's politeness and gratitude. "Sister-in-law, you seem too distant when you address me like that. Big brother Yannian and I are friends. I see him as an elder brother. You're my sister-in-law. You can be more casual and address me like you do with big brother Yannian." Towards the end, Duan Lingtian's tone contained a hint of helplessness. Hearing this, Ouyang Xueli smiled awkwardly. Dongfang Yannian helped her say, "Little Tian, your sister-in-law is different from me and Xue Haichuan. She's always been rather introverted. Once you get to know her for a while, she'll be able to do as you wish and stop being so courteous to you." So that's how it is. I've misunderstood her. Duan Lingtian suddenly understood. "Little Tian, are you preparing to enter the Emperor battle plane?" Dongfang Yannian asked with a smile. "Yes." Duan Lingtian nodded. Then, as if he had thought of something, he looked at Dongfang Yannian and asked, "Big brother Yannian, all the God King level disciples, with the exception of the elders and disciples who are busy with the sect's businesses, are required to kill a greater one sect disciple of the same level of cultivation as them within 3 months. Do you God Kings have a similar minimum mission?" Duan Lingtian suddenly thought of a problem. God Kings were one thing. Whether it was the Tianlong clan or the Greater One sect, there were many, but God Kings were not in the majority. "No." Dongfang Yannian shook his head. "The reason there's a specific mission for you is because they're worried that some of you will slack off and hide after entering the God King battlefield. But for existences in the God King level, almost none of them would do such a thing. For existences in the God King level, the opening of the Emperor battle plane is also an opportunity for them. As long as they accumulate enough battle merits in the Emperor battle plane, they can exchange for anything that's helpful to their cultivation and profound comprehension of laws. This includes divine fruits, divine pellets, battle soul beads of experts, secret chambers of laws, and so on. And for those in the God King level, with the exception of a few monstrous geniuses, the majority of them can feel the 1,000-year heavenly tribulation getting stronger and stronger. Under this kind of pressure, who wouldn't want to become stronger and deal with more heavenly tribulation? Let's not talk about the Tunglong province. Let's talk about our Tianlong clan. Why hasn't a god emperor been born for so many years? It's because many people who had the potential to become God Kings were killed by the 1,000-year heavenly tribulation before they could break through. The 1,000-year heavenly tribulation gets stronger each time. For the majority of God King disciples in the sect, the 1,000-year heavenly tribulation they're facing isn't that strong for the time being, so they don't feel that much pressure. But for God Kings, it's completely different. After hearing Dongfang Yannian's words, Duan Lingtian also came to a realization. Because that was indeed the case. For existences in the God King level, it was indeed very unlikely that they'd want to waste their days in the God King battlefield. They all wanted to take a step forward through the Emperor battle plane. Once they did, they might be able to live for several thousand more years and even have a chance to break through and become a God King. Pill Master Duan, you've broken through to the God King level? At this moment, Ouyang Xueli, who was beside Dongfang Yannian, suddenly asked in surprise. Although Ouyang Xueli did not use the senses of her soul to investigate Duan Lingtian, the sliver of presence of divine force that Duan Lingtian had left behind after teleporting away earlier still allowed her to sense some of the subtle characteristics of a God King. As soon as Ouyang Xueli finished speaking, the senses of Dongfang Yannian's soul swept towards Duan Lingtian without holding back at all. A while later, he withdrew his soul and stared at Duan Lingtian for quite a while before sighing. No wonder Xue Haichuan always calls you a monster, a freak. He really is right. How long has it been? And you've already become a God King. Moreover, You're a god king who's completely consolidated your cultivation and is clearly close to becoming a god king. It's fortunate that I didn't meet you when I was young, or I would have been crushed to death. Your peers really are pitiful to have a monster like you as a peer. Dongfang Yannian sighed emotionally as he silently mourned for Duan Lingtian's peers. I was just lucky. Duan Lingtian smiled modestly before bidding farewell to Dongfang Yannian and Ouyang Shueli. Afterwards, he flew through the entrance of the Emperor Battle Plain and vanished. Chapter 3841. From the Tianlong Temple, one had to pass through the Tianlong clan's entrance to the Emperor Battle Realm. After passing through the spatial passageway, one would arrive at Tianlong City, which was under the control of the Tianlong clan. After passing through the spatial passageway and entering the Emperor Battle Realm, Duan Lingtian's eyes lit up. He discovered that he had appeared in a majestic and ancient city. The floor tiles and walls of this city looked very new. It was obvious that it had been built not too long ago. Duan Lingtian. As soon as Duan Lingtian arrived, a few people took the initiative to greet him. These people were from the same batch of people as Duan Lingtian, who had entered the Tianlong clan. Most of them were inner sect disciples. There were also a few outer sect disciples. Duan Lingtian returned the greetings with a smile, even though he didn't know them or their names. Among these people, only a few of them looked familiar. Should we cooperate with Duan Lingtian? With his strength, we'll definitely have a better chance of entering the battlefield of God Kings. Not too far away, a God King inner sect disciple asked the people beside him. These people were his partners in entering the Emperor Battle Realm. They had agreed to enter the battlefield of God Kings together and support each other. Under the circumstances of helping each other complete the minimum mission, they would strive to obtain more battle merits and exchange them for the things they wanted in Peace City. If you want to cooperate with Duan Lingtian, why don't you go by yourself? Do you think he's a fool? With his strength, he doesn't need to cooperate with us at all. Another intermediate God King inner sect disciple shook his head and said, in terms of strength, he alone is enough to defeat all of us if we join forces. Cooperating with us will only benefit us. To him, it will only be detrimental. Think about it. If you were him and had the strength of our Tianlong clan below the God King realm, would you choose to cooperate with us? Under the reminder of the inner sect disciple who had spoken up earlier fell silent. At the same time, he did not take the initiative to step forward and ask for a snub. Of course, there were also some people who, although they felt that it was impossible for Duan Lingtian to cooperate with them, still mustered up the courage to step forward and ask, Duan Lingtian, we have 3 people on our side, 1 High God King and 2 Medium God Kings. Are you interested in entering the God King battlefield with us? After we complete the minimum mission, you get half of the battle merits, and the 3 of us get the other half. As soon as this person opened his mouth, not only did he want to cooperate with Duan Lingtian, but he also mentioned the benefits he would give to Duan Lingtian. After the mission was completed, the battle merits would be divided among the 4 of them, with Duan Lingtian taking half. It had to be said that this treatment was very generous. However, it was precisely this generous treatment that caused many people to snort disdainfully. It sounds nice. If they are really cooperating with the Duan Lingtian, I'm afraid they are relying on the Duan Lingtian. That's right, to Duan Lingtian. It's the same whether they are there or not. Unless it's Hua Tiandu and a few of the most outstanding inner sect disciples of our Tianlong clan, as well as some Azure Dragon disciples, if they cooperate with the Duan Lingtian, they are destined to only drag the Duan Lingtian down. As the group of people whispered to each other, Duan Lingtian also tactfully rejected the people who had asked him to cooperate. I plan to travel alone in the God King battlefield, and do not plan to cooperate with anyone. This one sentence also blocked the path of those who wanted to cooperate with him. Some people who originally wanted to speak up, or even make an even heavier promise, also stopped in their tracks at this time. Then, Duan Lingtian left under the gazes of the crowd. Duan Lingtian actually plans to travel alone in the God King battlefield. It seems that he is very confident in his own strength. With Duan Lingtian's strength, he indeed has the qualifications to say this. If those people from the Greater One sect encounter Duan Lingtian, I'm afraid they will be unlucky. When Duan Lingtian's back disappeared from the crowd's sight, the crowd couldn't help but discuss spiritedly regarding Duan Lingtian's strength to the extreme. Duan Lingtian naturally didn't know what the crowd was talking about. After he left the spatial passage entrance of Sky Dragon City, he began to stroll around Sky Dragon City. Sky Dragon City was divided into many areas. The inner sect disciples also had a residence here, and the layout was very similar to the inner sect disciples' cultivation area in the Tianlong Temple. However, this was a large open space, and there were many independent courtyards. Now, in front of some of the courtyards, there were already names engraved on the stone tablets. There are quite a few inner sect disciples who came in before me. Seeing this, Duan Lingtian shook his head. Then, Duan Lingtian also saw that in the inner sect disciples' residence area, there were many inner sect disciples who left in groups. There were also some inner sect disciples who just arrived, occupying one of the courtyards. This place isn't suitable for cultivation. Duan Lingtian roughly sensed that the heaven and earth spirit energy in the Emperor Battle Realm was thin. It was even thinner than the Devata realms, let alone the realms of gods. It seems like I can only rely on divine pills, divine stones, and divine crystals to recover my divine energy. It's extremely difficult to rely on cultivation to recover my divine energy with the density of the heaven and earth spirit energy here. It was not difficult for Duan Lingtian to figure this out. Swoosh! In just a flash, Duan Lingtian appeared in front of the stone tablet at the entrance of a courtyard that was located in a relatively good location. At the same time, another figure also appeared in front of the stone tablet. HM? Duan Lingtian looked at the person who had landed at the same time as him. Based on the identity token on the person's waist, it was obvious he was also an inner sect disciple. When Duan Lingtian looked at the other party smiled awkwardly. Senior brother Duan, since you've taken a fancy to this courtyard, I'll give it to you. I'll find another one. Duan Lingtian did not know the other party, but that did not mean the other party did not know who he was. Currently, Duan Lingtian was well known in the Tianlong clan. Whether it was those who were in the Tianlong temple or those who were running the Tianlong clan's businesses outside, as long as they were not in closed-door cultivation in recent years, they knew who he was. Thank you. As soon as the other party left, Duan Lingtian smiled and thanked the other party. Then, he casually carved his name on the stone tablet at the entrance of the courtyard in front of him. The 3 words Duan Lingtian were carved on the stone tablet in one go. This would also be his resting place in the Emperor Battle Realm. When he walked into the courtyard, he saw that the layout of the courtyard was no different from the cultivation area of the inner sect disciples in the Tianlong Temple. The layout of the rooms was similar as well, giving off a familiar feeling. It seems that Peace City can be reached directly from Heavenly Dragon City. After staying in the room for a while, Duan Lingtian walked out of the room and out of the courtyard. He casually asked someone for directions and headed east of Sky Dragon City. Peace City was located in the east of Sky Dragon City. It was adjacent to Sky Dragon City. Furthermore, the distance between Heavenly Dragon City and Peace City was very short. One could enter Peace City in practically an instant before others could react. Of course, even if that was not the case, no one from the Supreme Sect would dare to make a move here. Once they made a move, the experts of the Tianlong clan in Sky Dragon City would definitely not stand idly by. There was a Golden Dragon Elder overseeing Sky Dragon City, and at least one Golden Dragon Elder would stay behind. This was what Duan Lingtian had heard from Xue Haichuan before he came in. There are actually many people going to Peace City to watch the show. On the way to Peace City, Duan Lingtian saw many people heading to Peace City like him. Among them, there were not only inner sect disciples but also outer sect disciples, inner sect elders, outer sect elders, and outer sect deacons. Humph! A cold snort suddenly exploded by Duan Lingtian's ears, and it was like thunder piercing his ears. Immediately, Duan Lingtian's expression changed slightly. Then, he subconsciously looked at the person who had spoken. It was a person with the identity token of a white dragon elder hanging from his waist. He was also the only white dragon elder among the group of people who were currently heading to Peace City. After this person sensed Duan Lingtian's gaze, he coldly swept his eyes over him. Then, his figure flickered and he no longer paid attention to Duan Lingtian. In a flash, he vanished from Duan Lingtian's sight. Although that voice was directed at Duan Lingtian, the others still heard it. It was just that the voice was not as exaggerated as the one Duan Lingtian heard. For a time, everyone subconsciously stopped in their tracks. After a moment, an inner sect elder kindly sent a sound transmission to Duan Lingtian, reminding him, Duan Lingtian, that person just now was our Tianlong clan's White Dragon Elder, Elder Lu Yin. Elder Lu Yin is also someone from the 10,000 Demon sect. He was the former sect master of the Hidden Fog sect. But after his only son died, he left the Hidden Fog sect and joined the 10,000 Demon sect. Hearing this inner sect elder's reminder, Duan Lingtian's pupils shrank. When he regained his composure, he suddenly realized who it was. So it was him, Xue Haichuan's sworn enemy, a person who even dreamt of killing Xue Haichuan's big brother, Xue Haishan. Since you're close to Elder Xue Haichuan, you should know about the grudge between Elder Xue Haichuan's elder brother and him. If I'm not wrong, he targeted you because you're close to Elder Xue Haichuan. The inner sect elder continued to remind him. Thank you for the reminder, Elder. In truth, even if this inner sect elder didn't remind him, Duan Lingtian would have guessed the reason why he was targeted when he learned of this person's identity. However, although it should be because he was close to Xue Haichuan and his brother, there was definitely a big reason. It was because of the 10,000 Demon sect. When Kuang Tianzheng went to the Linghu family and tried to kill him, he and Kuang Tianzheng had become complete enemies. Kuang Tianzheng was a member of the Tianlong clan's 10,000 Demon sect. As long as the 10,000 Demon sect didn't give up on him, it meant that the 10,000 Demon sect was destined to be his enemy. However, you can rest assured in the Emperor battle plane. He won't dare to do anything to you. If he does, you will undoubtedly die. The inner sect elder continued to remind him. Finally, the inner sect elder reminded him a few more times before introducing himself. When he heard the inner sect elder's self-introduction, Duan Lingtian understood why he was so kind as to warn him. This person was actually Dongfang Yinyan's senior brother, who shared the same master. However, because he was weaker than Dongfang Yanyan, his status in the Tianlong clan was inferior to Dongfang Yinyan's. End of chapter. Chapter 3842. Lu Yin? He didn't even change his name. Previously, Duan Lingtian only knew that the previous sect master of the Hidden Fog sect refused to accept the judgment of the Hidden Fog sect's upper echelons against Xue Haishan. In a fit of anger, he turned and joined the Myriad Demon sect. After becoming one of the upper echelons of the Myriad Demon sect, he entered the Tianlong clan through the Myriad Demon sect. Moreover, he rapidly rose through the ranks of the Tianlong clan. Now, he had even become a White Dragon Elder. What he didn't know was that this person hadn't even changed his name back when he was the sect master of the Hidden Fog sect. The Hidden Fog sect had a rule. Every generation of sect masters had to abandon their own names and add a yin to their surname as their new name. This was to represent the Hidden Fog sect and control the Hidden Fog sect. For instance, the current sect master of the Hidden Fog sect was named Qianyin. As for Lu Yin, it was clear that he had only changed his name when he was the sect master of the Hidden Fog sect. But after he left the Hidden Fog sect, he didn't change his name back. To a certain extent, this was undoubtedly a provocation towards the Hidden Fog sect. At least, that was what Duan Lingtian believed. It seems that the previous sect master of the Hidden Fog sect holds a great grudge against the Hidden Fog sect. As he thought of the hostility Lu Yin showed towards him just now, it wasn't hard for Duan Lingtian to guess how deep his hatred for Xue Haishan was. It even included him. At the very least, in Duan Lingtian's opinion, Lu Yin's hostility towards him was first because he had a good relationship with Xue Haishan and his brother. Secondly, it was because he and the Myriad Demon sect were like fire and water. Senior apprentice brother Fangyu, when I came in just now, big brother Yanyan and sister-in-law Shueli were outside. Now that you've entered the Emperor warplane, do you plan on entering the Divine Sovereign battlefield with them? Duan Lingtian asked with a smile. No. Fangyu was the Tianlong clan inner sect disciple who reminded Duan Lingtian. He was also Duan Lingtian's senior apprentice brother. When he heard Duan Lingtian's question, he smiled and shook his head. If I went with them, wouldn't I disturb their mood? Duan Ling Tian could not help but smile when he heard this. That did seem to be the case. If Fang Yu rashly entered the battlefield of the Divine Emperors with Dongfang Yannian and his wife, he would undoubtedly become the third wheel beside them. It was easy to imagine that if that happened, even if he was Fang Yu, he would still feel uncomfortable. After exchanging a few words, and with Dongfang Yannian as the focal point, Duan Lingtian and Fang Yu quickly became familiar with each other. Then, they traveled together to Peace City. In Heavenly Dragon City, or even Peace City, nothing can happen to the people of the Tianlong clan. We don't have to worry about being assassinated. Along the way, Fang Yu smiled and said to Duan Lingtian, in Sky Dragon City, there is our Tianlong clan's Golden Dragon Elder. As for the Peace City, there are a few experts from the Tunglong province who are holding down the fort. However, each family has a god emperor holding down the fort. If anyone dares to cause trouble there. At this point, Fang Yu paused for a moment, then transmitted his voice to Duan Lingtian. Even our Tianlong clan's Golden Dragon Elder won't be able to escape death. There were more than one god emperor holding down the fort in Peace City. Who would dare to cause trouble there? Duan Lingtian nodded. Even if Fang Yu didn't say it, he would have thought of it. Of course, if a member of our Tianlong clan runs to Tai City, you can forget about living. Even if you don't do anything, Tai City will find a random reason to kill you after killing you. If you die in Tai City, you'll die in vain. At this point, Fang Yu looked at Duan Lingtian and asked, Little Tian, is your sense of direction all right? Sense of direction? Duan Lingtian was startled. He didn't know why Fang Yu suddenly asked this. Before this War of Emperors, there were 2 War of Emperors in the history of our Tianlong clan, Fang Yu said. During one of the 2 War of Emperors, there was once an inner sect disciple of the Tianlong clan. Due to his poor sense of direction, he mistakenly mistook the enemy's city for Heavenly Dragon City. Then, he died in the enemy's city. Of course, the other party said that he wanted to barge in and kill someone. He even made a move, which was why he was killed. However, if you think about it, it's impossible. If an inner sect disciple of our Tianlong clan accidentally entered the enemy's city, he would probably want to tuck his tail between his legs and behave himself. Why would he so easily make a move inside? Hearing Fang Yu's words, the corners of Duan Lingtian's mouth couldn't help but twitch. He finally understood why Fang Yu had asked him about his sense of direction. It turned out that someone from the Tianlong clan had suffered a great loss because of his poor sense of direction. My sense of direction is pretty good. However, even if my sense of direction is poor, our Heavenly Dragon City isn't exactly the same as the enemy's city, right? Duan Lingtian asked. That's right. Fang Yu nodded. However, those who went to Peace City were mesmerized by the various treasures that could be exchanged for merit points in Peace City. They had long forgotten some of the things that they didn't deliberately remember. How many people can remember what their own city looks like? Duan Lingtian smiled bitterly. It's really unfair that he died in the Emperor Battle Realm. Not only was it unfair, but it was also embarrassing. Fang Yu shook his head and said, naturally, no one in the sect would openly laugh at him. However, the enemy used him to make fun of the sect. At that time, many people in the sect didn't feel the slightest bit of pity for him. Duan Lingtian couldn't help but sigh when he heard this. It was not difficult to imagine the situation. Unknowingly, Duan Lingtian and Fang Yu arrived at the city walls of Heavenly Dragon City. Then, the 2 of them flashed and entered another city in front of them. This city was not very big. In fact, it was only 1/10 the size of Heavenly Dragon City. However, it was very lively. In this city, apart from a few mansions that no one dared to approach, the rest of the city was filled with buildings that were filled with formations. Inside these buildings, there were all kinds of treasures taken out by the Sky Dragon sect and the Greater One sect, and these treasures were now locked by formations. If one wanted to unlock the treasures and take them away, they would have to exchange military merits for them. In front of each item, a number would be formed on the formation wall. That number was the number of military merits required to unlock it. The more precious an item was, the more military merits it required. Here, Duan Lingtian saw one of the rewards that he had received when he won first place in the Hidden Dragon Grand Tournament a few years ago. It was the Emperor Ascension Divine Pill. The Emperor Ascension Divine Pill was priced at 100 military merits in Peace City's Divine Pill Hall. What did 100 military merits mean? If the God King disciples of the Tianlong clan and the outer sect deacons who were upper God Kings killed a lower God King disciple of the greater one sect, they would only obtain 1 military merit. If they killed a middle God King disciple, they would obtain 5 military merits. If they killed a upper God King disciple, they would obtain 25 military merits. In other words, whether it was the people of the Tianlong clan or the greater one sect, if they wanted to obtain an Emperor Ascension Divine Pill, they would either have to kill 4 upper God Kings or kill lower God Kings and middle God Kings. These Emperor Ascension Divine Pills must have been refined by the old ancestor. Even if the greater one sect obtained Emperor Ascension Divine Pills, they would normally give them to their disciples. Seeing Duan Lingtian's gaze, Fang Yu said bluntly. Duan Lingtian nodded. He thought so too. As an Emperor Grade Divine Pill, the Emperor Ascension Divine Pill was not that easy to refine. Even he was not confident that he could refine the Emperor Ascension Divine Pill. This was because the Emperor Ascension Divine Pill was different from ordinary Emperor Grade Divine Pills. Ordinary Emperor Grade Divine Pills relied more on the infusion of life energy, but the Emperor Ascension Divine Pill focused more on the technique of refining the pill. Duan Lingtian's current refining technique was not enough to refine the Emperor Ascension Divine Pill. At the same time, Duan Lingtian's attention also fell on the other divine pills. He realized that he could refine all of these divine pills. Moreover, he could refine these supreme grade divine pills, as long as he had enough materials. As for those that he could not refine at the moment, such as the Emperor Ascension Divine Pill, he had no use for them. At the very least, he had no use for them at the moment. What? You don't like them? Fang Yu asked with a smile when he noticed Duan Lingtian retracting his gaze. I don't need them. Duan Lingtian shook his head. Senior brother Fang Yu, let's go to the herb hall to take a look. There should be many things that I want there. As soon as Duan Lingtian finished speaking, before Fang Yu could reply, a mocking voice sounded from the side. What a boastful claim. There are so many divine pills and miraculous medicines, but none of them are what you want. Who do you think you are? You're just an inner sect disciple of the Tianlong clan. You have the guts to say such arrogant words? The person who sneered was a middle-aged man with an ordinary face and fierce eyes. He had a medium build and was wearing a loose blue robe. As soon as he appeared, many people in the Divine Pill Hall bowed to him and respectfully called him Elder Huang Yun. When Duan Lingtian heard the sneer, he instinctively glanced at the other party. His gaze landed on the other party as well. With just a glance, he recognized the identity token on the other party's waist. It was the identity token of the Tai Yi sect's inner sect elder. In Peace City, Duan Lingtian had seen many elders and disciples of the Greater One sect. However, whether it was the people of the Greater One sect or the people of the Tianlong clan, even if they were going to fight to the death on the battlefield, they were all in Peace City. It was even difficult to see a quarrel. As an inner sect elder of the Greater One sect, it seems that this kid isn't very well informed. Before Duan Lingtian could speak, Fang Yu laughed and looked at the Greater One sect inner sect elder Huang Yun with a gaze full of mockery. Just as Huang Yun's face darkened, Fang Yu indifferently said, although the person beside me is only an inner sect disciple of the Tianlong clan for the time being, he is also the one and only ultimate divine pill master of the Tianlong clan. Ultimate Divine Pill Master. This was the title that most people in the Tianlong clan gave to Duan Lingtian. The reason Duan Lingtian was given such a title was because he could refine Supreme Spirit Grade Divine Pills and Supreme King Grade Divine Pills as if they were child's play. There was no pressure at all. Ultimate Divine Pill Master? It's that Duan Lingtian of the Tianlong clan? Chapter 3843. Huang Yun was an inner sect elder of the Greater One sect. He had been in secluded cultivation for the past few years and was only forcefully awakened 2 months before the Emperor battle. Then, after learning about the Emperor battle, after his initial shock, he hurriedly made various preparations for the Emperor battle. He simply did not have the time to understand the various recent rumors. Therefore, he did not know of Duan Lingtian's existence. Nor did he know that Duan Lingtian was a divine pill master who was not even 3,000 years old and could freely refine peak king-level divine pills. Not even 3,000 years old and an elite among the Tianlong clan's inner sect disciples? A divine pill master who is not even 3,000 years old and can casually refine a large number of peak king-level divine pills? If it was someone from the Tianlong clan blowing his own trumpet, Huang Yun would not believe it. But the one who told him this was a greater one sect disciple. He had no choice but to believe it. It was also because of this that when he looked at Duan Lingtian again, his face alternated between green and white. In the end, he said coldly, "You are indeed a rare genius. However, in the Emperor battle plane, no one will show mercy to you just because you are a genius. In fact, our greater one sect's divine king disciples will be proud to kill you. Anyone who can kill you in the divine king battlefield can be proud and can even boast about it for the rest of their lives." Huang Yun was now a little angry out of humiliation, because his words just now had given him a solid slap, making him feel extremely humiliated. Moreover, it was in front of so many greater one sect disciples. Elder Huang Yun? Duan Lingtian glanced at the enraged Huang Yun indifferently. "Just because of what you said, I, Duan Lingtian, won't leave the battlefield of the godly kings if I don't kill all 100 of your godly king's disciples. Of course, you can also tell your greater one sect's divine king disciples to hide outside and not enter the divine king battlefield. That way, they may be able to escape death." The moment these words left Duan Lingtian's mouth, the entire place fell into dead silence. Even the people from the Tianlong clan were staring at Duan Lingtian, dumbfounded. They never thought that Duan Lingtian would dare to say such a thing. Although they all knew that Duan Lingtian was very strong, and if he was placed in the Tianlong clan, he would definitely be the most outstanding among the God King realm disciples. However, Duan Lingtian's words had undoubtedly pushed him to the opposite side of all the greater one sect's divine king realm disciples. Moreover, it was clear that he did not put the greater one sect's divine king in his eyes at all. The people of the Tianlong clan were dumbstruck. The people of the greater one sect, after a brief moment of shock, flew into a rage. Arrogant. Too arrogant. Does this Duan Lingtian really think he's an invincible godly king? How dare you provoke all the divine king disciples of our greater one sect? He's courting death. How dare you look down on our greater one sect's divine king disciples? I'll immediately go out and tell the strongest senior brothers of our greater one sect to quickly enter the Emperor battle plane and teach this ignorant brat a lesson. The group of greater one sect disciples present were furious at this moment. But after greater one sect's inner sect elder Huang Yun came back to his senses, he stared at Duan Lingtian with a mocking smile. "Then I'm looking forward to you killing 100 of our greater one sect's divine king disciples. I only hope that when the time comes, you won't go back on your words and run out before you've killed enough." Duan Lingtian's expression was as calm as ever. "You're not qualified for me, Duan Lingtian, to break my promise. You." Huang Yun flew into a rage. Divine power broke out of his body and surged around him, but after a moment, he withdrew it completely. At the same time, his forehead was overflowing with cold sweat, because, at this crucial moment, he felt an extremely terrifying aura locking onto him. This aura of unknown origin gave him an extremely dangerous feeling. It was as though if he dared to attack Duan Lingtian, the owner of this aura would immediately kill him. This is the aura of a divine emperor expert? Huang Yun's heart trembled, sweat dripping down his back. After a moment, he felt the aura recede. Huang Yun looked at Duan Lingtian, the anger in his eyes burning even more. "Brat, I'd like to see how you'll embarrass yourself when the time comes." Duan Lingtian's expression was still calm. "Elder Huang Yun, if you have the time to care about this, why don't you return to your greater one sect and warn those divine king disciples not to enter the divine king battlefield so easily, lest they become my, Duan Lingtian's, prey?" With that, Duan Lingtian ignored the furious Huang Yun and the rest of the greater one sect and walked out of the divine pill hall. "Senior brother Fang Yu, let's go take a look elsewhere." "Ah, okay." Fang Yu hurriedly came back to his senses and hurriedly followed. At the same time, the gaze he used to look at Duan Lingtian's back became more and more complicated. He really didn't expect that Duan Lingtian, who appeared to be humble and polite in private, would have such a side to him. Even he himself felt that Duan Lingtian was a little too arrogant and overconfident. The Greater One Sect's Divine King disciples, in terms of overall strength and peak battle strength, were not inferior to the Tianlong clan. However, Duan Lingtian had declared that he would fight all the Divine King stage disciples of the Tai sect on his own. Duan Lingtian didn't know what Feng Yu was thinking. Right now, he was wholeheartedly focused on the various divine fruits, divine herbs, and divine medicines that the Tianlong clan and Greater One Sect had taken out. To be precise, he was focused on the various medicinal herbs that Greater One Sect had taken out. As for the Tianlong clan's inventory, he had basically plundered a lot of what he needed. I hope Greater One Sect won't let me down. Right now, Duan Lingtian was hoping that among the medicinal herbs that Greater One Sect had taken out, there were medicinal herbs that the Tianlong clan did not have and that he urgently needed. And after Duan Lingtian left the Divine Pill Palace, the people of the Tianlong clan present looked at each other, speechless. Many people were talking about what had just happened through sound transmission. They all felt that Duan Lingtian was too arrogant. There were also some people who felt that Duan Lingtian was going to be in big trouble this time. As for the people of Greater One Sect, after Duan Lingtian left, they seemed to vent their anger on the Tianlong clan people. Their gazes towards the Tianlong clan people in the Divine Pill Palace also became hostile. However, the group of people of the Tianlong clan did not pay attention to their gazes. Even if there was an inner sect elder of Greater One Sect in the group of people, none of them could match up to him, because they knew that the other party would not make a move, nor would they dare to make a move. At the same time, the disciples of Greater One Sect also sent out messages one after another to their fellow sect members who had entered the Emperor Battle Dimension but were not in the Divine Pill Palace in Peace City. For a time, most of the disciples of Greater One Sect in the Emperor Battle Dimension basically knew what had happened in the Divine Pill Palace. To be precise, it was the words that Duan Lingtian had released. Entering the battlefield of Divine Kings, he won't come out unless he kills 100 Divine King disciples of Greater One Sect? Good. Very good. That Duan Lingtian of the Tianlong clan is really confident in himself. I'd like to see how he's going to kill 100 Divine King disciples of Greater One Sect. Godly King's disciples with a low cultivation base should gather together. At the very least, there should be a few superior Godly Kings leading the group. As for those with a high cultivation base, they can join forces and kill Duan Lingtian in the battlefield of the Godly Kings. In my opinion, since Duan Lingtian is so arrogant, the sect should issue a reward within the sect. Anyone who kills him will receive a large amount of sect contribution points. Everyone of Greater One Sect who heard the news was furious. Soon, several disciples of Greater One Sect deliberately left Greater One City and returned to the Greater One Sect's encampment to spread Duan Lingtian's words word for word. For a time, the entire Greater One Sect was shaken. The reward was also quickly spread throughout the Greater One Sect. Anyone who kills Duan Lingtian will be rewarded with 200,000 contribution points. Join forces to kill him, and anyone who kills him can discuss an equal share of the 200,000 contribution points. It was said that the reward was personally passed down by the sect master of Greater One Sect. For a time, the Greater One Sect's Divine King disciples were restless. Those Divine King disciples who already had small teams began to think of ways to strengthen their small teams so that they could kill Duan Lingtian when they encountered Duan Lingtian. The Greater One Sect's Divine King disciples who originally did not intend to enter the Emperor Battle Plane now all entered through the Emperor Battle Plane entrance of Greater One Sect's encampment. For a time, the number of Greater One Sect's Divine King disciples in Greater One City of the Emperor Battle Plane increased dramatically. In Greater One City, the Divine King disciples who originally planned to enter the battlefield of Divine Kings all stopped in their tracks. They wanted to find a few more people to team up with before entering the battlefield of Divine Kings. This way, it would be more helpful to kill the Tianlong clan's inner sect disciple Duan Lingtian. While the large group of Greater One Sect's Divine King disciples were moving, the news of the 200,000 contribution points reward spread through the Tianlong clan spies in Greater One Sect also reached the Tianlong clan. That pill Master Duan is really a troublemaker. The White Dragon elders of the Tianlong clan smiled bitterly when they received the news. At the same time, they immediately passed on the news to the sect master of the Tianlong clan, Long Qingchong. Long Qingchong was silent for a while after receiving the news. Then, he issued an order. All Divine King disciples below the High Divine King realm are not allowed to enter the battlefield of Divine Kings if they do not form groups of 10. Then, he explained his order. The Greater One Sect's Divine King disciples have gathered into teams with the goal of entering the battlefield of Divine Kings to kill Duan Lingtian. If your teams do not have the confidence to fight against Duan Lingtian, it is best not to enter the battlefield of Divine Kings rashly. Find a few more people to join your teams first. As Long Qingchong's words were passed on by the White Dragon elders of the Tianlong clan, the Divine King disciples of the Tianlong clan were stunned when they heard it. However, it did not take long for the Tianlong clan's disciples to spread the news of what happened in the Emperor Battle Realm and Ping City's Divine Pill Hall. Duan Lingtian declared that he would not come out until he killed 100 Greater One Divine King disciples after entering the battlefield of Divine Kings. The Tai Yi sect's godly monarch disciples made such a big fuss over this. The weak formed a large team, while the strong formed a small team, just to kill Duan Lingtian. The Greater One sect issued a reward of 200,000 contribution points for killing Duan Lingtian. As the news spread, the entire Tianlong clan was shaken. Chapter 3844. As a God Emperor level sect, the value of Greater One sect's contribution points was comparable to that of the Tianlong clan. 200,000 contribution points. In the Tianlong clan, even the Black Dragon Elder, not everyone had the ability to take out so much, let alone others. And the Black Dragon Elder of the Tianlong clan was already a high-level God Emperor. From this, it could be seen how generous it was for Greater One sect to take out 200,000 contribution points as a reward for killing Duan Lingtian. At this moment, even many of the Tianlong clan's God King disciples were somewhat tempted. If we kill Duan Lingtian, will Greater One sect be willing to give us treasures equivalent to 200,000 contribution points? 200,000 contribution points. Greater One sect, what a generous offer. They are determined to kill Duan Lingtian. Speaking of which, Duan Lingtian was a little too arrogant. He declared that he would not come out until he killed 100 Greater One sect's God King disciples. Isn't this the same as poking a hornet's nest? It would be strange if the Greater One sect did not respond to this. Duan Lingtian is most likely regretting it this time. I think so too. A group of Tianlong clan's God King disciples, while discussing spiritedly, shook their heads, eyes full of pity. They felt that if Duan Lingtian dared to enter the God King battlefield, it would not bode well for him. Clan Master wants us to form a team and enter. If the strength of the team is not enough to contend with Duan Lingtian, then we should not rashly enter the God King battlefield. Why does it sound like he wants us to deal with Duan Lingtian? You think too much. How could Clan Master want us to deal with a fellow disciple? He wants us to help Duan Lingtian too late. The reason why Clan Master used Duan Lingtian to measure the strength of the team is that he is worried that we are not strong enough and will be surrounded by the Greater One sect's God King team after entering the God King battlefield. Although the Greater One sect's God King team is going to kill Duan Lingtian, if they see us Tianlong clan's disciples, do you think they will let us go? That's true. The group of God King disciples from the Tianlong clan, who had been preparing to enter the battlefield, stopped in their tracks. Some of the God King's disciples who originally wanted to join forces with Duan Lingtian also gave up on the idea. Duan Lingtian, you're really... When Ding Yin heard the news, he couldn't help but sigh. Humph. Not far away from him, Sikong Yu grunted coldly. What are you sighing for? Are you still a man? Isn't that Duan Lingtian your friend? At this time, shouldn't you have faith in him? Could it be that you also think that he will die in the hands of the Supreme One Sect's Divine Kings? Although Sikong Yu didn't intend to enter the Emperor Battle Plains battlefield with Ding Yin, before entering, Ding Yin had gone to see her father. Then, her father had allowed her to enter the Emperor Battle Plain with Ding Yin. Of course, he didn't force her to follow Ding Yin. However, Now that they had just entered the Emperor battle plane and heard the various rumors about Duan Lingtian and Supreme One sect, Sikong Yu couldn't stand seeing Ding Yin sigh and pity the fate of mankind. Who said that I don't have faith in Duan Lingtian? When Ding Yin heard this, he raised his head and coldly swept a glance at Sikong Yu. Since you're not, why are you sighing? Ridiculous. Sikong Yu sneered. Ding Yin was silent. After a while, Sikong Yu looked at Ding Yin and said indifferently, Ding Yin, transmit a message to Duan Lingtian and ask him if he's interested in forming a team with me. Tell him that on my side, including me, there are 4 high god kings whose strength isn't inferior to Hua Tiandu's. Sikong Yu already had her own team in the Emperor battle plane. Of her 3 teammates, 2 were disciples of the Azure Dragon sect. Although the other one wasn't a disciple of the Azure Dragon sect, he had the strength of a disciple of the Azure Dragon sect. You want to join forces with Duan Lingtian? It had to be said that Sikong Yu's words frightened Ding Yin. Are you speaking the truth? When Ding Yin found out about Duan Lingtian's current situation, he was worried for Duan Lingtian. At the same time, his heart was filled with bitterness. He felt that his strength was too low and that he couldn't help Duan Lingtian. If he had enough strength, he could definitely form a team with Duan Lingtian to deal with the threat from the Greater One sect's God King disciples. But now, Sikong Yu said that she wanted to join forces with Duan Lingtian. It could be said that it frightened him, because in his opinion, joining forces with Duan Lingtian was definitely a dangerous thing. Hearing the words of the God King disciples, many people originally had the idea of joining forces with Duan Lingtian. But after learning about the conflict between Duan Lingtian and the Greater One sect, they dispelled the idea of joining forces with Duan Lingtian. Do you think I'm lying to you? Sikong Yu sneered. Quickly contact him. This is like sending charcoal in snowy weather to him. It's impossible for him to refuse. Why? Ding Yin asked. You, Sikong Yu, aren't someone who would sacrifice yourself for others. Why are you suddenly helping Duan Lingtian? Do you have something you want? As he finished speaking, Ding Yin had a vigilant expression. He had a certain understanding of Sikong Yu. Sikong Yu was extremely proud, to the extent that she looked down on many people. But now, she was willing to join forces with Duan Lingtian when Duan Lingtian was facing danger. He really couldn't figure out why Sikong Yu would make such a decision. Hearing Ding Yan's words and noticing Ding Yan's gaze, Sikong Yu was first stunned, then she frowned slightly. Why do you care what I want? I told you to contact him, so hurry up and contact him. I had to talk to the 3 of them for a while before they were willing to join forces with Duan Lingtian. The current Duan Lingtian isn't someone who's brave enough to work with. Sikong Yu said. Ding Yin was stunned when he heard Sikong Yu. Earlier, he was still wondering if someone in Sikong Yu's group wanted to join forces with Duan Lingtian. But based on the current situation, it didn't seem to be the case. Those 3 people were persuaded by Sikong Yu to join forces with Duan Lingtian. Ding Yin sent a voice transmission to Duan Lingtian as he glanced deeply at Sikong Yu. Sikong Yu, don't tell me that you've fallen for Duan Lingtian. As soon as Ding Yin finished speaking, Sikong Yu's expression went grim. What nonsense are you talking about? Ding Yin sighed in his heart when he saw Sikong Yu's reaction, and he knew that he'd guessed correctly. This extremely proud young woman, who'd always looked down on him, had fallen for his friend. Even though he'd long since given up all thoughts of Sikong Yu, he couldn't help but feel slightly disappointed when he found out that Sikong Yu had fallen for Duan Lingtian. After all, Sikong Yu didn't like him, but took a fancy to his friend. Of course, he knew in his heart that Duan Lingtian was so outstanding that it was normal for Sikong Yu to take a fancy to him. There was nothing wrong with that. This world was so realistic. If Duan Lingtian's current achievements were only on par with his, Sikong Yu would definitely not take a fancy to him. A proud woman like Sikong Yu would generally only take a fancy to a man who was more outstanding than her and could conquer her in all aspects. Obviously, Duan Lingtian was such a man. Tell her that I appreciate her good intentions. But I, Duan Lingtian, don't need anyone's help. At the same time, Ding Yin received a message from Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian. Ding Yin hurriedly sent a message. Don't try to be brave. I know you're very strong, but it's basically impossible for the people of Greater One sect to travel alone. Those who are weak will form groups. and those who are strong will form groups of 3 to 5. If you form a group with Sikong Yu and the others, it's almost impossible for the people of Greater One sect to kill you, Ding Yin advised. As a friend of Duan Lingtian, he naturally hoped that Duan Lingtian would be safe and sound. For example, when he was still in Wind City's Hidden Mist Academy, when he was a 10-star student, he knew that several Divine King-level clans in Wind City were targeting Duan Lingtian. He did not hesitate to borrow the power of the Tianlong clan to make the death warriors of those Divine King-level clans retreat. However, at that time, Duan Lingtian had rejected his good intentions. Ding Yin, don't forget that when we were still in Wind City's Hidden Mist Academy, you also felt that I was in danger during the training trip and insisted on helping me, but I was fine at that time, wasn't I? Duan Lingtian replied with a smile. Don't worry, Duan Lingtian, won't joke about my life. When he sent the message to Ding Yin, Duan Lingtian was still strolling around Peace City. The inner sect elder of the Tianlong clan, Fang Yu, who was originally by his side, had already left. He was preparing to enter the battlefield of Divine Kings with the group he had found. Before he left, he advised Duan Lingtian not to enter the battlefield of Divine Kings for the time being. Although he had been with Duan Lingtian all this time, Fang Yu had received many messages and learned about the situation at the scene. In the Emperor battle plane, apart from the 3 major battlefields, messages could be sent to and from Peace City, Sky Dragon City, and Greater One City. Moreover, messages could be sent directly to and from the 3 cities. In the end, Ding Yin was unable to persuade Duan Lingtian. Ding Yin could only smile bitterly and sigh. Then, he looked at Sikong Yu and said, Duan Lingtian asked me to tell you that he thanks you for your good intentions, but he doesn't plan to cooperate with anyone. You're his friend. Can't you persuade him? Sikong Yu frowned. This time, she wanted to join forces with Duan Lingtian. Although she did not like Duan Lingtian, as Ding Yin had said, she had no ill feelings toward Duan Lingtian. In fact, she was interested in him. This man who came from a Devata realm was younger than her, but he was more outstanding than her. Moreover, his attainments in the Divine Pill Tao were even more shocking. This was the first time she had met a man who surpassed her in every aspect. Moreover, this man had never even looked at her. Previously, when Duan Lingtian was refining pills in public, she and Ding Yin were standing together. However, Duan Lingtian only glanced at Ding Yin a few times. From the beginning until the end, he had only glanced at her from the corner of his eyes. This made her feel resentful, and she hated Duan Lingtian. However, as time passed, she became more and more curious about this man. She wanted to get close to him and let him know that she, Sikong Yu, was the pride of the younger generation in the Tianlong clan. There were many inner sect disciples who pursued her, and there were even a few Azure Dragon disciples who kept pestering her. Initially, she thought she would have a chance to get close to Duan Lingtian since the Supreme E-Sect was against Duan Lingtian in the God King battlefield. She even convinced her 3 companions. However, she did not expect Duan Lingtian would reject her. Chapter 38:45. I tried, but it's useless. Facing Sikong Yu's questioning, Ding Yin did not show any emotion. He gently shook his head and said, if possible, I also hope that he can work with you. That way, his safety will be more guaranteed. However, I know his character. Once he has decided on something, no one can change his mind. No matter what you're thinking, you should take care of yourself first. The current Gawking battlefield is not peaceful. Duan Lingtian won't join your small team. As such, your small team won't be able to grow any stronger. After Ding Yin finished speaking, he left. He had already contacted the team he was looking for. Now, under the expansion of his teammates, that team had cooperated with a few other small teams. Currently, there were more than 20 people. In his opinion, even if a team of this scale was far from enough to sweep the God King battlefield, they should be able to protect themselves to a certain extent. Of course, it might not be safe. However, in this world, if one wanted to become a true powerhouse, one had to experience trials and tribulations. For example, those who stood at the peak of this world, which one of them did not crawl out from a pile of corpses? If one was too timid to even enter the God King battlefield, one's life would probably be the same. After Ding Yin left, Sikong Yu's expression changed. She also left the Emperor battle plane. The exit of the Heavenly Dragon City was actually the place where the Heavenly Dragon sect's encampment appeared. It was a vast area. Many people in the surroundings were looking at her. However, when they saw Sikong Yu's unsightly expression, the group of people moved aside in succession and watched Sikong Yu leave from afar. Sikong Yu seems to be in a bad mood. Could it be that revered Elder Sikong taught her a lesson again? Speaking of which, who is revered Elder Sikong? Although he's an elder of the Tianlong clan, it's said that even the clan master has to be respectful to him. That's a treatment that ordinary elders of the Black Dragon clan don't have. In our Tianlong clan, I'm afraid only the old clan master and a few elders of the Golden Dragon clan have such treatment. I don't know about that. I only know that revered Elder Sikong came back with the clan master back then. He should be an expert that the clan master invited from outside. The one beside Sikong Yu earlier seemed to be called Ding Yin. In the past, he followed consecrated Sikong to the Tianlong clan. It was only right before the start of the last Hidden Dragon competition that he officially entered our Tianlong clan. Yes, he even fought his way into the top 30 of the Hidden Dragon Grand competition. He's one of the 2 youngest people in the top 30 of the Hidden Dragon Grand competition. He's the same as Duan Lingtian, not even 3,000 years old. Not even 3,000 years old, yet he managed to enter the top 30 of the Hidden Dragon competition. His future is boundless. If it weren't for Duan Lingtian, there was no way he wouldn't have made a name for himself after the Hidden Dragon Grand competition. Speaking of limitless prospects, Sikong Yu, who just left, is only around 3,000 years old and is already an Azure Dragon disciple of our Tianlong clan. After Ding Yin and Sikong Yu left, many people started to talk about them. Although they attracted a lot of attention when they were around, not many people dared to talk about them in front of them. Now that they were gone, everyone had nothing to worry about. Meanwhile, in Peace City, Duan Lingtian slowly walked out of the city gates. In a flash, he returned to Sky Dragon City. It seems like after the start of the Emperor battle, under the supervision of several Peak God Emperor forces in Tunglong Province, both the sects and the Greater One sect really took out their trump cards. Especially the Greater One sect, they have many medicinal herbs that I need. Moreover, the sect also has some things that I need. Although the Tianlong clan had promised to give him a certain amount of precious medicinal herbs that corresponded to a certain amount of contribution points when he refined the Limit Meridian Recovery Divine Pill in front of everyone, those medicinal herbs could only be considered second tier in terms of value. Among the medicinal herbs that he needed, the Tianlong clan did not give him the main medicinal herbs that could be considered first tier. However, when the Emperor battle started this time, the Tianlong clan took out several extremely precious medicinal herbs that he currently needed. These medicinal herbs were priceless in the Tianlong clan, and their value was extraordinary. Moreover, they were the main medicinal herbs that he needed to refine some Emperor-grade divine pills. Without these medicinal herbs, he would not be able to refine those Emperor-grade divine pills. As for the Greater One sect, they took out more things that he was interested in. In addition to medicinal herbs, Duan Lingtian also took a fancy to some other things. Among them, there was no lack of floating image pearls that recorded the battles between experts who were proficient in the law of space, as well as various other things that were helpful to the profoundness of the law of space. It was not only limited to the law of space. These things were also the trump cards of the Tianlong clan and the Greater One sect. Usually, the 2 sects would only take them out for special grand occasions and reward the disciples with the most outstanding performance. But for the War of Emperors this time around, they had all taken out those items. The things that I need will require almost 20,000 battle merits. It's not realistic to obtain so many battle merits by killing a God King. After returning to Sky Dragon City, Duan Lingtian thought to himself, after all, killing a higher God King of the Greater One sect will only give me 25 battle merits. 100 higher God Kings will only give me 2,500 battle merits. Thinking of this, Duan Lingtian sighed inwardly. Before going to Peace City, he was still thinking that if there were things that he wanted, he could enter the battlefield of God Kings and obtain battle merits to exchange for them. However, after going to Peace City, he found that there were too many things that he wanted. If he only killed God Kings, it would not be enough for him to obtain enough battle merits. It seems that I can only obtain battle merits in the battlefield of God Kings, while tempering my strength in battle. My current cultivation is not far from the God Emperor realm. Perhaps it won't be long before I break through and become a God Emperor. Then, I can enter the battlefield of God Emperors and kill the Greater One Sect's God Emperors. Even if it's just a lower God Emperor, killing one of them is enough to obtain 200 battle merits. Killing a middle God Emperor is worth 2,000 battle merits. As for a higher God Emperor, 20,000 battle merits. Thinking of how many battle merits he could obtain from killing a middle God Emperor, Duan Lingtian's eyes lit up. Breaking through to the God Emperor realm was imminent. There's still a long way to go before breaking through to the God Emperor realm. I'll enter the battlefield of God Kings first and properly temper my current strength so that when I break through to the God Emperor realm in the future, I'll have a stronger foundation for my cultivation. Ever since breaking through to the higher God King realm, I haven't fought with anyone. The battlefield of God Kings will become my whetstone when I break through to the higher God Emperor realm. Perhaps it will be my only whetstone. The Greater One Sect is offering a bounty of 200,000 battle merits to kill me. It's a good opportunity to see the methods of the Greater One Sect's God King disciples. Thinking of this, Duan Lingtian's eyes shone brighter and brighter. Waves of battle intent rose in his eyes, as if he couldn't wait to rush into the battlefield of God Kings and fight with the Greater One Sect's people. But how do I get to the battlefield of God Kings? Suddenly, Duan Lingtian realized that he didn't know how to get to the battlefield of God Kings. Glancing around, Duan Lingtian's figure blurred and stopped an old man with an inner sect elder token hanging from his waist. Elder, do you know how to get to the battlefield of God Kings? The old man frowned slightly at being stopped. Then, he raised his hand unhappily and pointed to the left. Over there. You didn't do your homework and rushed into the battlefield of God Kings. Boy, I advise you to join a team and enter the battlefield of God Kings together. Now, the battlefield of God Kings has become extremely dangerous because of you inner sect disciples, Duan Lingtian. If you go in alone, there's an 80 to 90% chance that you'll be killed by the Greater One Sect's God King disciples. The old man deliberately warned as he reached the end of his sentence. Thank you for the reminder, Elder. Duan Lingtian thanked the old man and turned to walk in the direction the old man had pointed. Boys these days are really arrogant. But I've advised him, so I've done my duty. Seeing Duan Lingtian enter the battlefield of God Kings alone, the old man frowned slightly and snorted. I hope he's not stupid enough to enter the battlefield of God Kings alone. At the entrance of the battlefield of God Kings, there should be many teams formed by disciples of God Kings recruiting people. If he's smart, he'll choose one to join. Just as the old man finished speaking and was about to walk forward, a middle-aged man smiled at the old man. Elder Hong, you don't know him? This middle-aged man also had an inner sect elder token hanging from his waist. As he greeted the old man, he looked at the back of the purple figure that was gradually walking away. I don't know him. The old man shook his head and looked at the middle-aged man suspiciously. Elder Huang, you know him? Of course I know him. The middle-aged man nodded. Back then, when he refined the Ultimate Limit Meridian Recovery Divine Pill, I was there to join in the fun. Ultimate Limit Meridian Recovery Divine Pill? The old man's eyes widened in shock. You mean, he's Duan Lingtian? The old man smiled wryly when he saw the middle-aged man nodding again. I really didn't expect him to be Duan Lingtian. I just told him that the battlefield of the God Kings has become extremely dangerous because of him. But he's planning to enter the battlefield of God Kings alone? Isn't that too risky? When Duan Lingtian arrived near the entrance of the battlefield of God Kings, he successfully attracted the attention of the disciples of the Tianlong clan who had already gathered here. Within the Tianlong clan, there were many high-ranking inner sect elders who did not recognize Duan Lingtian. However, there were very few people below the inner sect elders who did not recognize Duan Lingtian. Just like now, when Duan Lingtian appeared, many people cried out in surprise. It's Duan Lingtian. Is he preparing to enter the battlefield of God Kings? He's alone. Is he not planning to find someone to enter with him? Find someone? Are you kidding? Now, who dares to enter with him? Isn't that courting death? While the crowd was whispering, a beautiful figure stepped out from the crowd. Behind her, there were 3 other people, 1 woman and 2 men. It's Sikong. She's going for Duan Lingtian. Look at her aggressive manner. Could it be that Duan Lingtian has offended her? The eyes of many disciples of the God Kings brightened as they watched the show. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.